Welcome to Sunday Night with Old Time Radio. We broadcast shows from the golden age of radio every Sunday night from 8 to 11 Central Time. Tonight we have the Green Valley Line, Information Please, the Aldrich Family, that's new to us, Firefighters, The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, the Academy Award. Tonight, we have the presentation, My Man Godfrey. And then we close with Lights Out, a title of which I can't pronounce. You'll have to listen for yourself. Again, thanks for joining us. Let's get right to it.
In the heart of the night I am dreaming, when the voice of the city is still, of the friends in the dear old Green Valley, and the murmuring stream by the mill.
We present the first episode in the Green Valley Line, a story of a small, backcountry railroad in the early years of the 20th century. A story of the lives of small-town people in the America of 35 years ago. Our story opens at a little water tank siding on the hill above Morristown, a small railroad terminal in the heart of the Green Valley. As the darkness gathers, the lights begin to twinkle in the little town below. In the shadow of the big water tank, two men sit waiting for an incoming freight. Both are important characters in our story, so let us introduce them to you. The first is Spider McGee, a wandering fireman of the type known in railroad slang as a boomer. The other, whose identity we shall not yet disclose, is a slim, good-looking youngster who, in spite of the rough clothes he wears, betrays the unmistakable stamp of education and refinement. Let us listen to their conversation.
There she comes, Slim. That's old 72. And Mickey Dunnigan's pulling her. We'll get right under town.
Say, she won't take water here, will she?
No, they most always stop before hitting the downgrade. She's slow up anyway. Get ready to jump for the engine cab.
All right, here she comes.
Hello there, Mickey, old son of a gun.
Hello. Well, by the Holy Poker. You're getting the old friend Spider. Spider, you're looking fine, but what the devil brings you here?
Oh, I know.
Go put on your injector.
Well, it's hard for me and my pal to get her right into town, Mickey.
Sure, hop aboard with you. Hurry now.
Sure. Come on, Slim.
Okay, Spider, let's go.
Is it a job you're looking for on the Green Valley Spider, me boy?
Sure. I'm just heading in to see old Pop Harkins.
Yes.
Figure the things will be getting busy around here.
There's plenty doing, all right. Plenty doing. But you'll find a terrible change around Morristown.
Well, how's that, Mickey?
Well, for one thing, there's a new master mechanic on the job.
A master mechanic in Green Valley? Why, listen, ain't old Pop Harkins handling things anymore?
He's still the boss, of course. But there's here the fella named Cronin from the CK&W.
Cronin? Oh, yes, I know him. So that's the layout. Well, what's been going around here anyway?
Search me, Spider, me boy, search me. There's a power of talk on the road. They do say there's a big chance of the Green Valley being sold to the CK&W.
Well, I'll be darned. But say, Mickey, you don't suppose folks around here want to stand for that? They've always been against it.
There's a lot of trouble ahead, I'm thinking, but they'll be having a showdown pretty soon. John Graham's back in from the east.
He here?
Came in under number 10 yesterday.
Oh, well, he's the president of the Green Valley, ain't he?
That's right. But it's himself that is wanting to swing the deal to sell the old Green Valley.
Oh, what's old Dad Harkness got to say about it?
Well, no, of course. He's against it.
Sure.
And all the valley folks is with him.
Sure they are.
There'll be the devil to pay around here, I'm thinking.
But say, Mickey, what do you suppose is the chance to get a job with this here fella Cronin?
Mighty little, Spider, me boy, mighty little. He's a pretty hard man. He's bringing quite a few men in from the CK&W.
Oh.
Listen now, Spider.
Yeah?
You and the boy here better be dropping off
All
before
right.
we head in. I'll be slowing down to the switch in a minute. Stand by now. Hey, Joe! Tell that look we're heading in on track number 5.
Okay, Mickey. And thanks for the good news.
Yeah.
I'll be seeing you. Come on, Slim.
I know. Which way now, Spider?
We'll look over back at the house track and On ahead across over to Ma Flint's. I got to stand in there and we'll get us a handout. Gosh, but I'm hungry.
Oh, hold on a minute, Spider.
Oh, well, what's wrong now?
Let's sit down a while. I want to talk things over.
Okay, Slim. What's on your mind?
Well, I've been thinking over what that engineer told you back in the cab.
Yeah, well, what about it?
Looks as if it's going to be tough to get a job round here.
Sure, looks tough, all right. But that's okay, Slim. You stick with me and these here... there's nothing doing here. Why, we'll drift back on the mainland and get us a job.
Oh, I'm not worrying about jobs.
Huh? Say, listen here, Slim. I don't get you. Of course, you've been staking me, but what is it you're aiming to do around here? Ain't figured to stick up a bank, are you?
Oh, nothing like that, Spider.
Oh, gosh darn it. I can't size you up nohow. Here you're beating your way clear from Omaha, and yet you got lots of dough.
Oh, not so
you
much.
ain't dodging the cops, are you?
Oh, no, wrong again, Spider. Listen, you know this Green Valley Railroad pretty well, don't you?
Sure. Worked here a half a dozen times. Always aim to drift in this way towards fall and get a job in the rush season.
I see. What's this talk about the Green Valley being sold to some other road?
Well, you see, Slim, the CK&W's always been after this here streak of rust.
Yeah, what for?
Well, because it's a better grades through the mountains than the CK&W.
See.
And that's and now the competition's getting tough and traffic's speeding up.
Yeah.
You see, this here Green Valley looks like the answer.
I see, but what's this about the local people being against selling out?
Well, it's like this here, Bill. This here Green Valley Road was built by two men.
That's so?
One's Pop Harkness. He's a superintendent here in Morristown.
Oh, yeah.
And the other's John Graham, president of the road.
Well, what's that got to do with it?
Well, that's what I'm coming to. You see, it was old Pop Harkness that built the road.
Yeah?
John Graham did the financing.
Oh.
Now it's Graham that wants to sell out.
Ah, and this other fellow Harkness is against it, huh?
Sure, that's right.
I see.
All the Green Valley folks is backing Pop Harkness. They want to keep the Green Valley in their own hands. This Graham's back from the east, dicking with J.J. Reed. That's the old bloodsucker that controlled the CK&W.
Here, hold on a minute, Spider.
Huh? What's the matter now?
All right, never mind. Go ahead.
Oh, well, that's about the whole story, I guess. But say, what's this to you, Slim?
Oh, never mind that, Spider. Tell me, what's this old Pop Harkness like, anyway?
Well, he's one of the whitest men you ever see. And he's a darn good railroad man, too. Runs the whole works around here. Or, anyway, he used to until now. Seems like things has kind of changed, though. And Pop Harkness ain't got all the say.
Well, thanks a lot, Spider. I think I'll make a little stay here in Morristown and see
what
how
for?
things pan out.
Oh, well, listen here, Slim. Let's eat.
Oh, you go ahead first, Spider. I've got to get over to the hotel. There'll be a bunch of mail there for me.
Say, you ain't running out on me, are you, Slim?
I know, Spider. You know I'm not. But I've got some baggage at the hotel that I had sent ahead. I'm going over and change.
All right.
By the way, where's this place you're going?
Oh, right over there, back at the station, the Green Valley Restaurant.
Okay, Spider. I'll see you later.
Well, I'll be darned. Who is this guy, anyway? Hello, Abby. How are you?
Oh, well, for goodness sake, Spider McGee, where did you come from?
Oh, just flew in on 72. Where's Ma Flint?
She's in back. Oh, Ma.
Yes? What is it, Abby?
Come and look who's here.
What's the matter? Well, for land's sake, if it ain't Snyder come back.
Howdy, Ma. Darned if you ain't looking 10 years younger than when I last seed you.
Go on with you, Spider McGee. Say, where you been to all this time?
Oh, most everywhere, I reckon, from Texas to Maine. But things was getting kind of quiet back east, and so I just thought I'd strike out here, you know.
And so you struck out for the Green Valley, huh?
Yeah.
My land, it's a wonder you don't get tired of drifting and settle down
You never
somewhere.
can tell, Ma. Hold on there, Abby. Say, Abby,
Yeah?
get me some ham and eggs and a stack of toast, will you? I'm kind of hungry.
Okay, Spider. Ham and a stack.
How's things, Ma? Busy?
Oh, so. It's kind of quiet this evening, but business is picking up some. I'm glad to see you back, Spider.
Fine. Say, listen now, Ma. I got to have a talk with you.
Well, all right, Spider. Let's sit down in the booth for a while. The boys off of 72 will be in pretty soon, and then I'll have to get busy.
Now, that's okay with me. It'll only take about a minute.
Well, Spider, what's on your mind?
Well, I was talking to Mickey on 72. He says things is getting tough around here for getting jobs. Thought maybe you'd put in a word for me with Pop Harkness.
I don't know, Spider. Things ain't what they used to be around Morristown. There's a new master mechanic. His name is Cronin.
Yeah, I heard about him. Bringing in his own men, ain't he?
That's right. Tain't so easy, Spider, but I'll see what I can do for you.
Oh, thanks, Ma. I got a friend with me, too.
Uh-huh. A railroad man?
Well, I don't know. He seems to be. He's kind of used to railroading. Kind of a mysterious guy. Ain't even told me his name yet. But we got friendly back in Omaha, and as we was both heading for the Green Valley, we kind of stuck together.
Well, what's he after, Spider? A job?
Don't exactly know, Ma. I ain't sized him up exactly. Guess maybe his folks got money in the Green Valley. Seems mighty curious about what's going on around here.
There's a lot of strange faces been showing up lately.
I heard how they was aiming to sell the Green Valley.
Who's been telling you that?
Oh, I just heard talk of it.
Well, let me tell you something, Spider.
Yeah?
There's nothing to it.
No?
If John Graham tries to swindle us out of the money we folks put in, there's going to be trouble.
Okay with me, Ma.
It's that Jacob Reed he's in with. He's grabbed off most every little railroad he ever went after.
Sure he
Put
did.
his men in and froze out the stockholders.
Sure.
But this time, he's going to lose out.
Now, see here, Ma.
Somebody's coming in.
Huh? What'd you say?
Spider.
Why, gosh darn it. Slim, you old son of a gun. So it's you, is it?
Yeah.
All slicked up. Say, where'd you get them good clothes? Come on in, Slim. Shake hands with Ma Flynn.
What'd you say his name was?
Oh, just call him Slim.
Uh-huh. Well, I gotta go. See you again, Spider.
Sure. Well, sit down, Slim. I was just going to eat. Boy, you sure look different in them clothes.
Oh, here's your ham and eggs, Spider. What else would you like?
Oh, let me hold your hand.
Oh, go on if you there now.
Oh, not a thing. Just lay it right down there, Abby. That's it. Say, meet my pal, Abby. This here's Slim that I was telling you about.
Hello?
Oh, pleased to meet you. Can I get you something?
No, I just want to talk to Spider here. Thanks.
Okay.
Well, Slim, old partner, what's the good word?
Say, the old lady seems sort of hostile.
Oh, Ma? Oh,
Yeah.
she's okay. Ma's kind of head up ever since these rumors about the railroad being sold. Oh, don't pay no attention to her.
Well, forget it then.
Hey, Bill, take a look at that dame that just come in.
Uh-oh.
Ain't she a peach?
Boy, I'll say so. Who is it, Spider?
Dunno, Slim. Ain't nobody around lives around here. Swell looker, though, ain't she?
Spider, she's wonderful. I wonder who she is.
Better find out from Abby. Looks as though they was pretty well acquainted anyhow.
Sure, that's just what I'm going to do. And say, Spider, about that job you're looking for in the Green Valley. It's all fixed.
What? Say, listen, Slim.
Yes, it is.
You ain't kidding me, are you?
Kidding? No, I should say not. I was talking to Cronin over at the hotel.
Cronin? You mean the new master mechanic?
Sure, I had a letter to him. It's okay. You go around and see him at the shop 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
I'll be dogged.
Yeah, he's got a place for you.
Good.
He's going to put you firing with Mickey Donegan.
Oh, great. A job for me? Fired?
That's right.
Do you mean it, Slim?
Sure, I mean it. I'll give you a note to take round.
Oh, why, darn it all, Slim. That's mighty white of you.
Oh, forget it.
But say, how come you got this here stand-in with Cronin?
Oh, never mind that, Spider. It's a long, long story, but the job's all right, though.
Well, I'll be...
Oh, want anything else, Spider?
Say, Abby, who was that girl you were just talking to at the counter?
Why, that's Carrie Graham.
Graham?
Sure. Her father's president of the Green Valley Railroad.
Well, I'm assuming...
Of course, she's been away at college the last 3 years.
So that's Carolyn Graham. Well, I'm darned.
Oh, you don't know her, do you, Slim?
No, I never saw her before, but... Well, never mind, Spider. I've got to go back to the hotel now. You come round and see me sometime tomorrow, will you?
Yeah, sure, Slim. I'll be seeing you.
All right, good night, Spider.
So long, Slim.
Well, Spider, so you're getting into society, huh?
What do you mean, Mom?
Listen, Spider McGee, if that's the kind of folks you're running around with, you'd better stay out of here.
Oh, now, say, listen, Slim's all right. He's fixing me with a job with Cronin.
Fixing you for a job, is
Yeah.
he? Sure.
Sure he is.
And you telling me you don't even know his name?
Now, see here, Ma.
In case you don't know, that's Bill Reed,
What?
son of J.J. Reed, the old crocodile that's aiming to grab off the Green Valley.
Huh?
Getting you a job.
Well, suffering Pete.
And so the mysterious stranger who comes to Morristown in the guise of a wandering tramp is the son of J.J. Reed, multimillionaire owner of the C.K. and W. Railroad. What is his purpose in Morristown? Tune in for the next episode in The Green Valley Line.
Here is a story that will tax your powers of deduction. Perhaps you can assist us in solving the mystery which confronts officials of Trans-American Airlines. To aid us in the investigation, the United States Department of Justice has detailed Miss Irene Delroy, clever girl operative, to bring the guilty person or persons to justice. Now, here is our problem. Within a period of 3 weeks, Trans-American has lost 3 of the newest type airmail ships in a very mysterious manner. In each case, the pilot, flying through night and bad weather, reported that the ship's motor cut out over mountainous country, forcing him to leave the ship by parachute. Upon locating the wreckage, officials of Trans-American found the mail apparently safe, but were astounded to hear that in each case, a valuable shipment of government securities was missing. Irene Delroy of the Department of Justice, Tom Powers, General Manager of Trans-American, and his board of directors are awaiting the return of Andrews, pilot of the ill-fated 601, the last ship to crash.
I tell you, Andrews knows something about this. How do we know his motor cut out on him? We have only his word to go on. Suppose it didn't. Then what?
Do you mean to imply, Powers, that there's some connection between Andrews and the airmail thieves?
Why not? We've lost 3 ships, counting the one tonight. Andrews was the pilot in each case, the only man in the ship. You don't hear about the motors on our passenger lines giving trouble. Why should the mail planes? Most of all, why should Andrews get all the bad breaks?
But, Powers, don't lose sight of the fact that heretofore Andrews has been our best pilot. He's been with us since we organized this company. Why should he want to deliberately wreck $80,000 worth of our ships? What is your opinion, Miss Delroy?
Well, you should not overlook the fact that in each case there was a valuable transfer of government securities.
I know how you feel about Andrews, Temple. You watched him grow up and aided him where you could. He's engaged to marry your daughter. But men have been known to crack before, especially where the stakes were high.
What do you mean, Powers?
Just this. I know that for the past few months, Andrews has been trying his luck in the market. He's been gambling on rather risky stocks. Now, I'll tell you something you don't know. 2 days ago, Andrews sold all his holdings in Trans-American.
How do you know that?
The broker who has been handling Andrews' account told me. What's more, he told me that Andrews is hard up.
It's preposterous. Andy is not the man to gamble away what little money he has saved.
I can show you the stock transfer tomorrow. The trouble with you, Temple, is that you're too soft-headed for a job like this.
Soft-headed, eh? Listen.
I believe we will get farther if you gentlemen will assist me by answering a few questions.
Sorry, Miss Delroy.
Mr. Powers believes that the pilot might have had something to do with this case. Can you tell me, Mr. Powers, if there was any way for Andrews to know that the particular shipment he was carrying was of unusual value?
You mean, any way he could know that he was carrying securities?
Yes, that's the question.
I don't know. I suppose he could have found out some way.
Where do you receive the mail from the post office?
Just outside this door in the receiving room.
Mm-hmm. How long does it take there before it is loaded onto the plane?
Oh, not long, possibly 20 minutes.
I see. Can you tell me, is the mail ever opened or sorted in the receiving room before it is loaded into the plane?
Very seldom. Sometimes, if there's too much weight in one bag, we divide it into 2 containers. However, this is done before the proper authorities.
Do you remember if the eastbound pouch was opened here tonight before it was loaded into the plane?
Yes, it was opened and divided while the post office men were here.
Who ordered it opened?
I did.
For a reason?
Yes. We were carrying a rather large load of express on tonight's eastbound. I wanted to distribute the load more evenly. These new fast mails have a tendency to be a bit nose-heavy as it is.
Were you present when the pouch was emptied?
I believe I was, at least part of the time.
Well, did you see the government shipment?
If I did, I didn't recognize it.
Can you tell us if Mr. Andrews was present when the pouch was emptied?
Well, that I can't say. He may have been. Then again, he may not. Yes?
There's a gentleman here to see you, Mr. Powers, a reporter.
What's he want?
I don't know, sir.
Tell him we have nothing to say.
Well, that's no way to receive a representative of the press, gentlemen.
What do you want?
I'm Gifford of the Star. Say, I hear you lost another ship tonight.
Jimmy!
Irene! I knew it. I knew it, sure as shooting. I had a hunch there was something back of these crashes, and seeing you here makes me sure of it.
Jimmy, I thought you were still in New York.
Hardly. I'm a roving sort of fellow. Can't stay in one place very long. You've got to keep traveling to keep ahead of these news hounds, you know. Say, let me look at you. Still as good looking as ever.
Jimmy, please.
Did you get my letter?
Jimmy, we're here on serious business.
All right. Say, what's up?
Nothing as yet.
And see here, Gifford, if you'll come around in the morning, we'll furnish you with a statement. Right now, we have other things on our minds.
Exactly. And I'm thinking that the other things you mentioned will be more important than that statement you'll give me in the morning.
That's enough. You weren't invited, so get out.
Now, Powers, you forget you're talking to the press. You wouldn't want me to print a story saying that an official of Transamerican threw a reporter out on his ear, would you?
I said get out of this office.
Now, Mr. Gifford, if you have a few questions that won't take too long, perhaps we could...
Fine. Now, I knew you'd be only too glad to help me out. You lost another ship tonight. Now, what was the cause?
The pilot reported motor trouble.
Anybody hurt?
No, it was a mail plane, no passengers. I presume the pilot bailed out.
Who was the pilot?
Andrews.
You mean Andy Andrews, the war flyer?
I believe he had some war experience.
That's the third time he's ripped the sack, isn't it? And what is your mission, Miss Delroy?
That doesn't concern you, Gifford.
And why not? Here I find the directors of Transamerican Airlines closeted with one of the best operators of the Department of Justice, and you say it doesn't mean anything.
I can't say anything as yet, Jimmy.
Well, I see. It's just another one of those things, isn't it?
Mr. Andrews is back, Mr. Powers.
Now
Well, bring him in, bring him in.
We'll find out something about this.
Sit down, Andrews. You look all in.
Oh, I am. Tired as a dog and soaked to the skin. Anybody got a drink?
Here you are, mister. Help yourself.
Oh, thanks. This is great. Oh, aren't you going to join me?
No, thanks. I only carry it for emergencies.
Well, your first aid kit is serving its purpose this time. Say.
Well, what's the matter?
Oh, I'm sorry. Your face looked familiar. I was just trying to place it.
My name's Gifford. I'm a reporter.
Well, glad to know you, Gifford. Reporter, eh? I suppose there'll be a flock of you fellas around.
And we'll have to ask you to leave, Gifford. This conference is to be private.
Oh, that's distressing. I'd hoped to lend my assistance.
It won't be needed.
I don't see any harm in letting Mr. Gifford stay, gentlemen. I've worked on cases with him before, and I'm sure we can rely on his discretion.
We're going to discuss some very private matters, Miss Delroy. I don't intend to see the press destroy confidence in our pilots or our ships.
On the other hand, I believe we can persuade Mr. Gifford to build up that confidence rather than destroy it.
Oh, very well.
What's up? Why all the hubbub?
You carried a registered package tonight, Andrews.
Well, what about it? I can't fly a ship without a motor, can I? Besides, you'll find that mail when you find the ship. I dumped the tanks and cut the switch. I'm beginning to believe somebody has it in for me. Bailing out of 3 ships in a month.
That's precisely why we're here. What happened?
You know, that's the funny thing about it. It was practically the same as happened when I was flying 618 about a week ago.
How do you mean? What was that?
You see, I was fighting rain and low ceiling over Twin Peaks. But aside from that, everything seemed okay. I was right on time, and the buzzer showed I was on course according to the radio beacon. Then all of a sudden, the motor cut, clean as a whistle. I pumped the throttle, but no soap. I switched on to both mags, but still she wouldn't pick up. I could see there wasn't a chance to land the ship, so I did the only thing there was to do. Dumped the tanks, cut the switch, radioed Metro, and bailed. That's all.
What seemed to be the trouble with the motor, old man?
Ignition. If it had been gas, the motor would have spluttered once or twice at least.
How high were you when you were flying?
About 4,800. That's only 1,800 above the pass.
Was your motor turning up okay when you left?
Sure. 1,700 RPM on the ground. That's plenty of stock.
Had you checked ignition cables?
No, why should I? That's Fitzgerald's job. Say, what'd he say about it?
Fitzgerald swore that the ship had been thoroughly checked before you left.
Where is this Fitzgerald?
I let him go. I hold him jointly responsible for tonight's crash.
And the other party?
Andrews.
Me? See, what's the idea? Just because I don't ride a plane to the ground, you blame me. Listen, Powers. I've put every plane we've got through on schedule in all sorts of weather. I brought him in here with a motor pounding like a boiler factory. But when a motor cuts completely on me over that country, I bail out, see?
And rightly, too.
Rightly? Do you mean to tell me that you approve of Andrews' action?
Naturally. What else would you expect a man to do? Go down with the ship?
Oh, don't get soft, Temple. Tonight, Andrews, you cracked the 3rd ship in 3 weeks in the same place.
Well, what about it? Why don't you find out why the motor on those ships stopped deader than a mackerel? For the love of Mike, do you think I like to bail out in the mountains? Do you think it's fun to risk my neck coming down in a chute in that kind of country?
In those 3 trips, you carried $65,000 in government securities.
Oh, what if I did? What of it?
Those securities weren't with the mail when it was recovered from the wreckage.
Now I get what you're driving at. In other words, Mr. Powers, you're trying to infer that I took them. Is that it?
Oh, well, I didn't say that, Andrews, but on the other hand, we know that you've been plunging in the market.
Well, what about it? Is there any law against a pilot playing the market? Everybody else does.
Yeah, but you sold your holdings in Trans-American Airlines.
Sure, why shouldn't I? The stock was mine.
You admit you were hard up for money?
Sure, I was a sucker, and they cleaned me. But I didn't have anything to do with that mail.
Perhaps I'd better introduce you to Miss Delroy here. She's with the Department of Justice. It will be for her to decide. Who is it?
Mr. Powers.
Yeah, well, what is it?
Mr. Powers, I've just found the wreckage of 601.
Oh, good. Andrews dumped the tanks and cut the switch. Now we'll see if we can find any part of that mail.
I don't think you will, sir.
Why? Why shouldn't we find it?
Because Mr. Fitzgerald found the ship, sir, and reported it was completely burned to pieces.
Information, please. Presented each week at this time by Canada Dry, famous the world over for its fine beverages. Wake up, America. Time to stump the experts and enjoy a glass of cool, refreshing Canada Dry ginger ale. Every week at this time, Canada Dry provides you with a quadruple target at which to hurl your questions. Here's how it goes. For every question we use, whether or not it's answered correctly, the sender gets $5. And if your question stumps our board of experts, you not only get $10 more, but in addition, you receive a complete 24-volume set of the current Encyclopedia Britannica. Mind you, this is only if your question stumps our board of experts. Our editorial staff may reword your question a trifle. Don't worry about it. Whenever there is a duplication of questions, Information Please uses the one that was received first. All questions become the property of Information Please and should be addressed to Canada Dry, 1 Pershing Square, New York City, or in Canada, Canada Dry, Toronto. And now, may I present our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Clifton Fadiman, literary critic of the New Yorker magazine. Mr. Fadiman.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have the sincere assurance of everyone on this program that these questions are not seen in advance by any of the experts. This evening, our 4 authorities include our tried and true trio, Franklin P. Adams, John Kieran, and Oscar Levant. And as our guest, Walter Wanger, independent moving picture producer, whose forthcoming picture, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, will be Foreign Correspondent. Remember, listeners, for each question that's missed, Canada Dry rings up $10. And that's paid out to the sender, plus 24 volumes of the latest edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica. So much for preliminaries. Now, shall we begin with a question from Mrs. E.C. Rogers of St. Louis, Missouri? It's divided into 3 parts, and you have to get all 3, gentlemen, to get by. Complete the lines from poems or songs, that begin as follows. Just go on with them. The first is hickety-pickety. Mr. Kieran.
My black hen, she lays eggs for gentlemen. Gentlemen come every day to see what my black hen doth lay.
What a plot for one of Mr. Wanger's pictures, Mr. Kieran. That's quite right. Handy-spandy. Handy-spandy. How does that go on? Mr. Kieran
Well, it
again.
goes a handy-spandy, fine and dandy, but I've forgotten the rest of it.
Not
Something
fine.
else than sugar candy.
That's right, Mr. Adams. I think between the two of you ought to be able to get it. It's handy-spandy, jack-a-dandy, loves plum cake, and sugar candy. Mr. Wanger, do you think we're just wasting our time doing this sort of thing?
I think it's all rehearsed.
No, honestly. How does it go on? Do you know how it continues, Mr.
No,
Adams?
as far as I know.
Would you care to know?
Yes, I love it.
I thought you would. Jack-a-dandy loves plum cake and sugar candy. He bought some at a grocer's shop, and then he came out hop, hop, hop. The third and last, this is pretty easy, is Inka-Dinka-Doo. How does that go on? Inka-Dinka-Doo, Mr. Levant.
It's all in the rhythm. I don't know the words. It's ink, a dink-a-doo. Is that right? A dink-a-doo? I don't know.
You make it sound different.
It's duplicated. You just keep on saying it.
No, it really goes on. It develops after
It's
that.
Jimmy Durante in one of his...
Yeah, but there's a real line of English in it.
Well, I haven't had time to look for that.
Inka-dinka-doo, inka-dinka-doo, oh, what a tune for crooning. Isn't that the way it goes? Something like that?
I
Oh,
don't
what a
remember.
tune for crooning. That's the one you didn't get right. I think we'll send $10 to Mrs. E.C. Rogers of St. Louis, plus a set of the Encyclopedia Britannica. Thank you. From R. Strauch of Toledo comes this one. Again, a three-part question. Get 2 out of 3, gentlemen, if you can. In what movies or plays are these places important? The first place is East River Terrace. East River Terrace. Mr. Wanger.
Dead End.
In Dead End. What is East River Terrace in Dead End?
It's the apartment house where the rich meet the poor.
Yes, in the movies. That's quite right. The second is Johnny the Priest's. Johnny the Priest's. Had its place in what movie or play? Or
Is
in
that
both?
in that
Mr. Levant?
gangster picture with Eddie Robinson in it?
Which one?
Brother Orchid?
No,
He was
no,
in a
I don't think so.
monastery.
I don't think so.
How did he ever get in the monastery?
Warner Brothers.
You say Warner Brothers put him there, Mr. Wanger? The answer, by the way, is what? Johnny the Priest is a saloon appearing in Anna Christie by Eugene O'Neill, which is both a play and a movie, I believe. That gives us one wrong. It means we have to get the next one absolutely right. The Footlights Club of New York. The Footlights Club of New York. Mr. Wanger?
In Kaufman's show, Stage Door.
Stage Door, yes. Mr. Levant?
Played by Mrs. Levant and Mrs. Wanger on the road with great success.
Is that so? Is that so, Mr. Levant?
You better include Miss Ferber. You'll get a storm of letters.
Well, that gives us three very
Would you
charming
mind
ladies.
saying my wife and I saw it?
All right, we'll put in Mrs. Adams. That gives us 4 charming ladies connected with Stage Door and passes us on to the next question. From Reva E. Bardell of Hermosa Beach, California. Get 2 out of 3, gentlemen, on this one. Here are 4 groups of words. Each group is taken from a famous speech. All you have to give me is the name of the author of the speech. The first group of words is burden, emperor, woman, constitutionally. We have 2 hands up. Mr. Kieran.
I think that is the speech of the Duke of Windsor when he abdicated the English throne.
That's right. Mr. Levant had his hand up, too, and I'm sure he's going to say the same thing. Mr. Levant?
Yeah, that's right. There was a Calypso song appearing in Newsweek about
Is that how you remember it?
Wait a minute. How's it go? For love and love alone did King Edward give up his throne.
Something like that. But I don't know whether these same 4 words were used. To get the speech from the 4 words, I think, is quite a trick. Thank you, Mr. Kieran and Mr. Levant. Now, here's another set of 4 words. Death, chains, British, liberty. What famous speech contains those 4 words, Mr. Adams?
Patrick Henry's.
Patrick Henry's speech given where?
I think at the Constitutional Convention.
No, it was not. It's a common... Mr. Wanger?
In Virginia at the... I can't think of it.
Is it an MGM theater, probably?
It's back in a Warner Brothers short again.
I think it was long before MGM's time, if that is possible. It was in Richmond, Virginia.
Assembly.
It was before that.
The Virginia Convention, yes. Perhaps you remember the famous lines that I think most Americans remember. Do you remember them, Mr. Kieran?
Yes, when shall we have liberty? Shall it be when a British soldier is quartered in every home and so forth and so on?
He didn't say and so forth and so on. I don't believe it.
Well, that's how it goes.
The words that we're talking of, death, chains, British and liberty, are all in the last two lines.
I cannot, what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death.
That's right.
Now he got both.
That's true, he did. Here's the third and last set of four words. Strife, entangle, ambition, European. From what speech?
Sounds like an isolationist or an interventionist.
Well, at the time, perhaps, it was an isolationist speech. Mr. Kieran?
I think that was Washington, George Washington.
Yes.
And it may have been his farewell speech.
It was indeed, Mr. Kieran. The farewell address in 1796, September 17th. That's quite right. I don't think that was a very easy question to answer. The next one from R. Moran of Los Angeles is a four-part question. Get 3 parts out of the 4 if you can. Now, you're going to hear some songs. That is, a few notes from each of 4 songs. Each of these songs was featured originally in a dramatic picture. Identify the picture in which it played an important part. Is that clear? Let's have the first. Mr. Levant had his hand up almost at once.
That was in a pre-talkie picture called Seventh Heaven.
That's quite right. And what's the song called?
Diane.
Diane, Seventh Heaven, featuring, do you remember?
Janet Gaynor in pictures, Helen Macon on a stage. It was written by Austin Strong.
You left out the boy, friend.
Charles Farrell.
That's right.
Subsequently
Be
done
fair,
by
be
Simone
fair,
Simone.
Mr. Levant.
I don't know why I should remember
that. You know, he ought to be useful in pictures, Mr. Wanger.
Didn't Paramount take up his option?
Frankly, they're vacillating.
Well, this is your chance. This is your chance, Oscar. How about the next song, which I almost gave away? Mr. Adams, you're just enjoying this, aren't you?
Not very much.
Mr. Levant.
Love and Bloom, naturally.
Love and Bloom, yes.
It was in a Bing Crosby picture.
What's it called?
Frankly, I've never seen a Bing Crosby. Yes, I have.
Yes, you have. At close quarters, too, Mr. Levant.
She Loves Me Not?
Yes, She Loves Me Not, a Bing Crosby picture, and that featured the song Love and Bloom, Maxie Love and Bloom. The next song... Oh, this is the only one that I would have known. Pretty easy. Mr. Levant has his hand up, but I'd like to get some sort of response from any of the other 3.
Well, it's not by William Saroy. And the name
Mr. Adams?
I don't know what it is. The man on the flying trapeze.
That's
but
right.
I know what picture it was in. If
Well,
it wasn't in Shoulder Arms.
And gosh, I hate to say it, Mr. Adams, but it wasn't in Shoulder Arms. Mr. Levant, will you help us out?
It was in that Clark Gable picture with Claudette Colbert. One Saturday.
Yes,
it happened.
It was in that
one night.
Claudette Colbert picture with Clark Gable. And it was called, Mr.
It happened one night.
It happened one night, that's right. The fourth and last of the songs.
What's
Mr.
that?
Wanger, do you go to pictures at all?
Very seldom.
It's a very interesting invention, Mr. Wanger.
I'm following Mr. Adams.
You ought to see some of these pictures. Mr. Levant, you have your hand up on that?
No, I haven't got my hand up.
You mean to say that we lose out on this one?
We have to have 4 again?
We have to get 3 out of 4. We're all right, but I'd like you boys to get that one. Now, let's play it again. Probably no one listening outside who doesn't know the answer to this question. The song, of course, is See What the Boys in the Back Room Will Have, and you will find it in Destry Rides Again, featuring the inimitable Marlene Dietrich, as we call her. That gives us 3 out of 4. We just slipped by on that one. See what you can do on this. Francis E. Martini of Brooklyn sends the following in. This is a question about poetry. Get 2 out of 3. Complete the thought by quoting the lines that follow each of these famous lines of poetry. The first line is, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. How does it go on, gentlemen? Mr. Kieran's hand was up.
Well, I can't go on very far with it.
I doubt that.
Its loveliness will never fade.
Now, you're just trying to improve on Keats.
Yes, a little bit. It's Endymion, the opening lines of...
Don't take advantage of a dead poet. Its loveliness increases.
Increases.
Yeah, how does it go on?
Oh, I don't know. You know, that's a terribly long poem, that Endymion. It's in 4 books.
I know, but all I want is another 3 words out of you, Mr. Kieran. It is long. I'm not asking you to quote the whole poem. Though I think it would be no more than fair. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but still will keep a bower quiet for us. And a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Does it come back to you at all?
Where'd
Mr.
you
Adams?
get that brogue?
It's the Scotch in me. I don't know whether to pass you on that or
No,
not.
you ought to
Mr.
flunk
Kieran.
me
I'll
on that.
flunk
I
you
didn't
on
know
it. That means we have to get the next two right. Oh, sleep, it is a gentle thing. How does that go on? Mr. Adams.
Beloved from pole to pole.
That's quite right. It's from what poem?
Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Yes. Do you know how it goes on after beloved from pole to pole, Mr. Adams? To Mary Queen, the praise be given. She sent
sent the gentle sleep from heaven which slid into my soul.
That's exactly right, Mr. Adams. Thank you very much. Do you know that, Mr. Kieran?
Well...
Yes or no?
Don't fight, boy.
I know it about as well as I know the other.
How about this one? My heart leaps up when I behold... Mr. Kieran.
A rainbow in the sky. So was it...
Are you looking,
Frank?
Mr. Adams? I think he's got you there, Mr. Adams.
So is it now I am
So
a
was
man?
it when my life began.
So is it now I am a man?
So be it.
Till I die. That's Wordsworth.
The child is father to the man.
That's a little later on in the poem, I think, Mr. Adams, but part of the same thing. It's the Wordsworth famous poem, The Rainbow. That gives us 2 out of 3, which is all we were required to get, and sends us on to the next question from Mr. B. Delaney of Boston. Get 2 out of 3 on this. We'll make a rapid switch from verse to sports. Identify the unusual sporting event suggested by the following situations. Great favorite upset by 35 to 1 shot in annual race.
What is that, horses?
You're telling me, or am I telling you, Mr. Levant? Great favorite upset by 35 to 1 shot in annual race. What sporting event suggested by that? Mr. Kieran.
Why, there was a recent Gold Cup motor boat regatta, or speedboat regatta, in which a second-hand boat beat all the very expensive ones.
Haven't the slightest doubt that's true.
Certainly is.
Unfortunately, it's not the answer to my question.
Well...
Though I could make up a very good question based on your answer, Mr. Kieran. Well, it's the recent Kentucky Derby upset. Well, reasonably recent. How long ago was it, Mr. Kieran?
It was in May. Galahadian beat Bimelech.
Yes, well, that's pretty recent to us fellows.
Oh,
35
I
to 1
claim
shot?
a foul on that one.
Does it come back to you now? Yes, Galahadian beat the favorite Bimelech, who came in second, May 4th, 1940. That isn't so long ago. I can
It is
remember
if you don't like horses.
Well, let's see what we can do on the last 2. Trailing 13 to nothing in the last quarter, the winning team scored 3 touchdowns. The last and winning touchdown with only seconds left to play. What event? Mr. Adams.
Michigan and Ohio State.
No.
How about it, Mr. Levant?
No, that's that famous Notre Dame Ohio State game.
Yes, that's right.
I heard that one on the radio.
That's right, Mr. Levant. Ohio beat Notre Dame. It was November 2nd, 1935.
I know that whole
It was a
game.
long time ago. What was the final score then?
20, it was very close. 3 touchdowns?
3 touchdowns.
Well, it must have been 20,
So
19.
18 to 13, I suppose. 18 to 13 was the final score. I don't know whether to count you right or wrong on that, Mr. Adams.
Wrong.
You had one of the teams right.
I had the year wrong.
Well, he sentimental about
that wasn't
Michigan.
good enough.
Doesn't make
All
any
right, down she goes as wrong. Here is another. Champ returns to ring and knocks out opponent. Champ returns to ring and knocks out opponent. Are you frowning at me, Mr. Kieran?
No, but there's going to be a row about this one.
Let's
I
have
can
it right
see that.
now. Let's have it right now.
Go ahead.
Do you want to start the row, Mr. Levant?
Yeah, I'm going to say Jack Dempsey with a wrestler.
Jack Dempsey and what?
And some wrestler named Lust something. Not Lust, that's like Van Gogh.
No, I think calling his opponent a wrestler is libelous.
Luttrell, his name was. You call him anything you
Mr.
like.
Kieran?
I think that question, if they're going back that far, refers to the Dempsey-Tunney match in Chicago.
No, I don't think so. I want you to observe the form of the question. Champ returns to ring and knocks out opponent.
Joe Louis.
No.
Henry Armstrong. Well, they're all champions.
Well, you've named everybody except Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, Mr. Levant. It was Dempsey versus Firpo in 1923. Dempsey was knocked out of the ring in the first round and came back and knocked him out in the second round. Am I wrong, Mr. Kieran?
No, we can go back to Peddler Palmer and Terry McGovern and those fellows.
We probably
Same
could. We
answer.
just haven't time.
Don't be casuistic.
We seem to have made a perfect, or at least a perfectly bad score of 3 wrong out of a possible 3, sending $10 and a set of the encyclopedia to Mr. Delaney. So far, we have, let's see, I find that Canada Dry has parted with $20 and 2 sets of the encyclopedia. And as I point the finger of scorn at our experts, won't you please listen to Mr. Cross?
During the past year, Information Please movie shorts have been filmed and shown on picture screens throughout the country. Great numbers of people have enjoyed watching our experts at work. And even greater numbers are enjoying sparkling Canada Dry water every day. Thousands upon thousands serve this splendid club soda at home and order it in hotels and restaurants. The platinum-colored bottle with the silver top is a familiar daily sight on tables everywhere. Pinpoint carbonation, a term coined by Canada Dry, has become part of our language owing to everyday usage. And small wonder, because pinpoint carbonation is the reason why your favorite drinks taste better and last longer. So, for pleasant entertainment, see the Information Please movie shorts. And for pleasant refreshment, specify sparkling Canada Dry water when ordering a club soda.
Thanks for the plug, Mr. Cross. And by the way, your announcement ran 53 seconds. Shall we go on with the second half of the program with a question coming to us from Joseph R. Rosenthal of Washington, D.C. Again, a three-part question. Get 2 out of 3. In what military situations of the past or present did the following weather conditions have an important bearing on the outcome? In the first case, extreme cold. Extreme cold. Mr. Wanger.
Finland.
I beg pardon?
The Finnish campaign.
Well, I think I would accept that. That's quite true. The Russians had considerable difficulty. Perhaps they weren't equipped to withstand the extreme cold. I was thinking of another instance from the past. Mr. Adams?
Valley Forge.
Oh. Yes, but I don't think that it had an important influence on the outcome. The Revolutionary Army withstood the cold. Mr. Kieran?
I should say Napoleon's attack on Moscow.
Yes, the retreat from Moscow and the losing of many, many thousands of men in the extreme cold. But Mr. Wanger's reply was perfectly correct, I should say.
Well, any campaign in Russia had that element.
Pretty near, yes.
I said Finland.
I beg pardon?
I said Finland.
I beg your pardon. Didn't I say you said?
Mr. Levant said any campaign
Finland
in Russia.
at different times has been, as you can recall.
As cold as Russia.
Part of Russia.
A part of Russia.
I wouldn't worry. Let's not split degrees this way, gentlemen. Go on to the next weather condition, fog. What military situation of the past or present? Mr. Kieran.
Why, there was fog over the part of the Battle of Jutland, for one thing.
Well, of course, no one knows exactly how that battle came out, so perhaps it wasn't decisive.
Well,
I think it was generally considered an Allied victory.
Well, I read where just today, bring it back again, that the some British ships fired on other British ships by mistake because of the fog.
Well, I don't think the fog was decisive in settling the battle. Mr. Levant.
The evacuation of Dunkirk was abetted by fog.
Yes, I should say that was true, that fog helped the BEF during their heroic evacuation from Dunkirk. I think that would be true, that the fog was of great aid to them. How about severe storm? Can you think of any military or naval situation of the past or present in which a severe storm was of some importance?
Captain's Courageous by Rudyard Kipling.
Yes, there was a severe storm. Not a military situation, though. Well, you have to go back several hundred years to the time that the Spanish were attacking. Mr. Kieran?
The Armada.
Yes, the...
1588.
That's right. The storm helped to destroy and scatter the ships of the invading Spanish Armada. Well, that gives us 2 out of 3 and sends us on to a question from Mary H. Raitt. Get all gentlemen on this. What were the following characters of fact or fiction looking for? The first, a pair of characters, the Prince and the Pauper. What were they looking for? The Prince and the Pauper.
That's Mark Twain, isn't it?
That's Mark Twain.
Well,
Don't tell me they were looking for a producer, Mr.
No,
Levant.
there was producer. No, there was a lot of confusion there. Weren't they twins?
And you've inherited it. How about it?
Weren't they twins?
No, not precisely.
Well, I didn't want to let you down. I'm confused.
They look very much alike. They were looking for... I'd have to tell you the whole plot in order to explain what I mean. But they were both looking for the royal seal, which was to prove that the prince was the prince and the pauper was the pauper. For further details, see your daily newspaper. That gives us 1 wrong. How about Tex Rickard? What was Tex Rickard looking for? I have 2 hands up, 3 hands up. Mr. Adams.
Looking for a champion.
He was looking for a champion to beat whom?
He was looking for a white hope.
He was looking for a white hope, Mr. Levant. That's quite right.
To beat Jack Johnson.
To beat Jack Johnson, that's right. Blind Pew. Blind Pew was looking for what or whom, Mr. Kieran?
Blind Pew was looking for the sea chest that was kept by the old seaman who came to live at the house of the hero of Treasure Island.
Yes, and what was
because
in the sea chest?
In the chest was a map showing where the treasure was buried on this island.
That's right. That's exactly right. Mr. Levant, what were you going to say?
What is Joe Pugh looking for?
Haven't got him down on the card. I wouldn't know. That gives us only 2 out of 3. Here's another off-the-record question, which we won't count. What was Detective Sam Y looking for? Detective Sam Y, W-Y-E.
Looking for my wife again.
What were you saying, Mr. Wanger?
Trade winds, looking for the heroine.
He was looking for the heroine, who was Miss Joan Bennett, Mr. Wanger's wife, as he has informed us. Yes. And what was the name of the character as played by Miss Bennett in Trade Winds? Do you remember, Mr. Wanger? Did you have anything to do with the picture, by the way?
Very little.
She played the piano, I remember. Chopin.
It's not a part. Kay Kerrigan, I think it was. Kay Kerrigan, yes, that's right. Well, we got only 2 out of 3 on that, sending $10 to Miss Rate of Washington, D.C. Do what you can with this one, from John J. DeMott of Arlington, New Jersey. Name the states of the Union that bound each of these states. The first state is Maine. Bound Maine. That is, what states of the Union are adjacent to it? Maine. Mr. Kieran?
I think New Hampshire.
Yes, New Hampshire, that's right. I've always thought it was a shame that New Hampshire separated Maine from Vermont.
That's
right. There's only one of the states.
One state. It's a narrow strip runs out to a naval base there.
Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Yes, but that's the only state that is adjacent to Maine. That's rather a tricky question. How about Texas? What states bound Texas? State or states bound Texas? Now we have Mr. Levant's hand up. Mr. Levant?
Oklahoma, Kansas. That's right so far.
I'm not saying.
Sure, it's right. Oklahoma, Kansas. Wait a minute now.
You said Oklahoma, Kansas. That's not 4 states. That's just 2 states and a stutter.
All right, that's a start. Let somebody else finish it.
New Mexico.
No.
New Mexico? Mr. Kieran?
Arizona.
Well, you couldn't have made a worse job of bounding Texas. I've never seen like that in my life.
Wait a minute. Arizona is part of the boundary of Texas.
No. Oh, no.
Kansas and Oklahoma was not bad.
Kansas is terrible.
Kansas is way up.
Well, why don't you stop?
Kansas
How about Mexico itself?
Kansas is a very fine state, but it does not bound Texas.
New Mexico.
New Mexico, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and, gentlemen, Louisiana. Louisiana, yes. Look it up on the map.
We were only wrong about
gives
4.
us another $10 penalty going out to Mr. DeMott, plus a set of the Encyclopedia Britannica. And all of you gentlemen will receive a free atlas in the morning. Here's a question from Ada Alice Rogers of Baltimore, Maryland. Get 2 out of 3 if you can. Who constructed the following? The first was a 3-story object built of gopher wood containing rooms and a window and covered with pitch. Who constructed it? The look of distinction on these 4 places.
Is that Radio City?
You're exaggerating. Mr. Adams.
I think it was somebody in the Old Testament.
Yes, who was it?
A real estate man.
No, it was a weatherman, as a matter of fact. It was Noah. Noah who constructed the ark, which is what I've been describing. Who constructed an airplane made of an old hoop skirt or 2, as well as some wire and several old umbrellas? Who constructed that?
One of the Wright brothers.
Simple. No, it wasn't. You'd think so, but it wasn't.
A man in
That
Paris.
sounds like...
How about it, Mr. Kieran?
Blaireau, whatever.
The artist.
No, that's wrong.
Great
Mr. Wanger?
artist.
Da Vinci?
No. Darius Green. Darius Green, the hero of a poem, Darius Green and his flying machine. 2 wrong out of 2. Very good, gentlemen. A human who constructed a human wall across a river.
The Chinese did that once.
No, I think you're guessing. It was Major Robert Rogers in the motion picture and novel Northwest Passage. And that sends $10 to Miss Rogers of Baltimore, Maryland, and Mr. Cross from you.
For you late vacationists, whether your plans call for a tour of scenic Canada or the wonders of our own country, you'll find one thing they have in common: Canada Dry Ginger Ale. From the far reaches of northern Canada to Key West, Florida, Canada Dry is well known. Its goodness and healthful qualities are appreciated. And for good reason, for Canada Dry is made from the finest Jamaica ginger, selected spices from the 4 corners of the world, and other choice ingredients blended by experts under a formula that has never been duplicated. It's famous as the champagne of ginger ales. So in your travels, on all occasions when the time comes for refreshments, remember that Canada Dry is always available whether you travel in the United States or Canada. And we would like to remind those who are interested in Canadian travel that there are no border restrictions other than the usual citizenship identification. No passports or visas are necessary. Now here's Mr. Fadiman.
Well, we learn that Canada Dry has lost a total of $50 plus 5 sets of the encyclopedia. Not so good, gentlemen. Mr. Wanger, Canada Dry thanks you for coming tonight. Next week, Mr. Kieran and Mr. Adams will be on tap. And as our guests, we will have first our old friend, the famous critic and novelist, Christopher Morley. And second, the distinguished son of a distinguished father, James Roosevelt, motion picture producer, who is now in New York to present his much-awaited and discussed film, Pastor Hall. Remember, listeners, for every question we use, whether or not it's answered correctly, the sender gets $5. And if your question stumps our board of experts, you not only get $10 more, but in addition, a complete 24-volume set of the Encyclopedia Britannica. Remember, send your letters with questions and the correct answers to Canada Dry, 1 Pershing Square, New York City.
You will find Canada Dry ginger ale, sparkling water, lime Ricky, and Tom Collins mixer at your favorite neighborhood stores. The large family-size bottle is most economical, costing only 15 cents plus bottle deposit. This is Milton Cross saying goodnight for Canada Dry until next week at this same time.
The Aldrich Family, based on characters originated by Clifford Goldsmith and starring Ezra Stone as Henry with Jackie Kelk as Homer.
Henry Aldrich.
Coming, Mother.
And now for the Aldrich Family. Memories of youth are precious things to be cherished and recalled all your life. And there's no better way to keep those memories fresh than knowing a real teenage American boy like Henry Aldrich. For Henry's every escapade seems a mirror held up to your own youth. The scene opens in the Aldrich front hall.
Homer, are you sure?
Sure, I'm sure. I was walking by the Emporium and I saw them right in the window with my own 2 eyes.
That's what I mean. You've been complaining you don't see too well lately.
That's only in Latin.
Oh.
Henry, is that the phone?
No, Father, just Homer.
Oh, I thought perhaps it was that long-distance call I'm waiting for.
Henry, can you think of a way we can raise $6.95 apiece?
Just $6.95 for genuine pilot's boots?
Sure. They're surplus from the Air Force.
Boy, would I like those.
I'll say they're even fur-lined. The only thing is, at $6.95, they'll go like hotcakes.
Homer, my father will never advance me that much voluntarily.
Henry?
Yes, Mary?
Henry, do you have any white elephants you'd like to get rid of?
Do I have what?
White elephants. Do you, Henry?
Oh, I don't think so.
Would you have any at your house, Homer?
White elephants?
Yes, I'd be glad to stop by and collect them.
Well, I haven't noticed any lately. Henry, is Mary feeling well these days?
Homer, I've got an idea.
What about?
How we can get the pilot's boots.
How? Who are you calling, Henry?
Number, please.
Elm 232.
Elm 232.
Hey, that's my house.
Homer, all you have to do is talk your parents into it, and mine will be a pushover.
But, Henry, every time I ask my father for money, he makes me count out $10 in pennies.
What for?
It's supposed to teach me the value of money.
Hello?
Homer, the least you can do is try. Here, take it.
But, Henry...
Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Is this Mrs. Brown?
Yes? Who is this?
Homer.
Homer who?
Homer, your son.
Wow. Yes, dear?
Mother, how's your headache?
Fine. It cleared up just a little while after you left.
Oh, that's good. Mother, how do you feel about boots?
You mean the poem?
No, the kind with fur lining. From the Air Force.
Dear, the Air Force would never take you. You're underweight.
Gee whiz, I don't want to join the Air Force. All I want is $6.95.
So do I. I'd like a new hat. But I'm not going to count out $10 in pennies to get it.
But, Mother...
Homer, my headache's back. Goodbye, dear.
But, Mother...
And don't be late for supper.
But, Mother... Hello?
Boy, you don't know how to handle mothers at all, Homer.
Well, let's see you do better.
Dear, you're not disturbing your father, are you?
Disturbing him? How could we do that?
Well, I want you to be very careful today. He's working on a very important case.
Has he been kicked out of his office?
No, Homer, it's being painted, and I'd appreciate it if you'd steer clear of his study.
Mother, Mother, how would you like to go through this winter and not have to worry about my catching colds?
Catching cold?
Nice going, Hen.
Let me feel your forehead, Henry.
No, Mother. You don't understand. I don't have a cold now. It's this winter I'm worrying you about. So could I have $6.95?
What for?
Boots.
Pilot's boots.
Sort of like galoshes.
Dear, you'd have to ask your father for that much money.
You mean if it's all right with him, it's all right with you?
Oh, I suppose so, but do it quickly. He's in his study.
Henry, explain it's really our patriotic duty to take these boots off the government's hands.
Yeah. Father!
Yes, is it the phone? Is it long distance?
The phone? No, sir.
Well, Henry, I do not wish to be disturbed this afternoon. Is that clear?
But
now go on out and play.
Father, couldn't you answer just one question for me?
Yes?
May I have $6.95 for a pair of boots?
You may not.
Homer, maybe we can earn $6.95.
Who would pay us that kind of money?
Oh, boy. Father!
I heard it.
Father, the phone!
I hear it.
Hey, Henry, I just thought of something.
Hello?
Samuel Aldrich, please. Chicago calling.
This is he.
Go ahead, sir.
Hello, Sam. This is Bert Walker.
Oh, Bert, I've been waiting for your call all morning.
And I've been trying to get through all morning.
Well, thank heavens you did. That brief has to be filed by 5 this afternoon.
That soon?
And I can't file without that information. You got it, didn't you?
Yes. Now, these are all Illinois statutes. You'd better write them down.
Yes, just a minute. Wait till I find some paper. Now, where's that pad? Alice!
Yes, Sam?
Where's the telephone memo pad?
It's used up, dear.
Used up? At a time like this, I've got Chicago hanging.
Wait a minute, I'll get you a milk bill.
Oh, never mind, I've got something. Hello, Bert.
You got some paper, Sam?
There's a newspaper here on the telephone table. I'll jot it down on that.
Fine. Now, the first is Volume 3,
Volume
Article 14, page 923. Got it?
Yep.
Now, the second one, let me see.
Father, would you consider those Statue of Liberty bookends on your desk, White Elephant?
Mary, I'm speaking to Chicago.
Oh. Mother.
Hello, Bert. Now, what's the second one?
Mother, I found it.
Oh, you found what, dear?
That black and purple vase Aunt Belle gave us 5 years ago. It's a perfect white elephant.
Dear, do you think we should give that away? After all, your Aunt Belle paid $25 for it.
She told you that?
Well, of course not. Just happened to leave the price tag on.
Well, it's certainly not doing anybody any good up in the attic.
All right, dear. Sam!
Now, what can I wrap it in?
Sam, are you still on the phone?
Well, thank you very much, Bert. Goodbye. What is it, Alice?
Dear, please come and eat your lunch.
Oh, first I must copy these figures into my brief.
You can do that after you eat. You've got to take some nourishment.
But Alice...
Sam, I insist.
Very well. And, Alice, isn't there any way to get the boys out of the house this afternoon?
I'll speak to them, dear. You go in and start on your salad.
It's certainly a relief to have that Chicago business off my mind.
Henry, I tell you, I saw it myself.
Henry?
Yes, Mother.
Dear, I'd like to speak to you.
Mother, I know what you're going to say, and the only reason I'm excited is because of a ridiculous thing Homer just said.
Mrs. Aldrich, do you happen to have last night's paper around?
It's right there on the telephone table. But, dear, you and Homer will have to get out of the house this afternoon.
Yes, Mother.
Here, I'll show you, Henry.
Even if the ad is in there, they'd never give a job like that to us.
Why not?
We're too young.
No, that's the beautiful part of it. Wait till I find the ad. There it is, Henry.
Let's see. Wanted, men to work on streetcars Saturdays. Good pay, experience unnecessary.
You see?
Call Elm 950.
Experience unnecessary.
I know, but...
The least we can do is call.
Number, please.
Elm 950.
Elm 950.
I'll bet they pay as high as $3 a day, Henry.
For us? Now tell the truth. Doesn't that sound foolish?
Centerville Streetcar Company Employment Office.
Hello. I'm calling about the ad in yesterday's paper.
Yes?
How inexperienced can you be?
You've had a high school education?
In a manner of speaking, you might say so.
Well, that's enough.
Would you tell that to my friend? Here, Henry.
Hello?
What is it you want to know?
You mean you'd let us drive streetcars without experience?
Of course not. You just help collect fares. On the line that runs down to the football stadium.
Is that all? Just collect fares?
That's right. And if you want that job, you better come down today before 5.
Ask for me, Mr. Lingenspelzer.
Lingenspelzer? Homer, write that down.
Lingenspelzer? How do you spell it?
Just the way it sounds. Lingenspelzer.
Oh, sure. Lingenspelzer. I'll write it down next to the ad.
Mister, how much would that job pay?
$6.20 a day.
$6.20?
$6.20.
Oh, boy. We'll take it.
Okay, drop down. Goodbye.
I told you, Henry. I told you.
Let's go, Homer.
Henry, could I have part of that paper to wrap this vase in?
Sure, Mary, here.
My goodness, I don't need that much.
Dear, I just cleaned this hall.
Well, I'll pick the papers up.
Are you using all of that paper, Henry?
No, just this section.
Well, give me the rest of it. Gus, the junk man, comes today.
Mother, I'm going down to the White Elephant shop.
Very well. And, Henry, remember what I told you about getting out of the house.
Henry, you know what let's do?
What?
Let's take a streetcar down there. We can get experience as we go.
That's right. If they pay $6.20 for us the way we are, imagine what they'll pay if we know the business.
You're crazy, Henry.
You're the one who's
Just
crazy.
because you've been on this trolley for 10 minutes, you think you know the whole thing. He uses that pedal to ring the bell.
Ring the bell, ring the bell. Homer, what happens when your father presses the pedal in his car? It stalls.
Come on, let's go up and stand by the motorman.
Okay.
Fine Street off. You mind letting that lady off, Sonny?
Oh, excuse me.
Watch your step getting off, miss. Walnut Street next. You boys getting off at Walnut?
Us? No, sir.
Mister, do you mind us standing here?
I guess not. You think you might like to take up transportation when you get older?
Yes, sir.
We're thinking of going into it right now.
It's a fine career for a man.
Is that a fact?
Yes, indeed. You get around, see the world. You know what I mean?
Mister, that pedal on the floor there, is that the gas or the bell?
Neither. It's the brake.
You see, Homer, it's a good thing we asked. Well, this isn't Walnut Street, mister.
I know. I have to go out and switch the track.
Oh. Boy, look at all those things he has to work.
Henry, which one is the bell, do you suppose?
Now, listen, Homer, don't touch anything.
There it is, Hen, that button.
Homer, look out for the crank.
What?
Homer, your elbow! We're moving, Homer! Stop
I
it!
don't know how. You stay! Oh, boy, hit stop.
Good work, Homer.
Me? Didn't you stop it?
Who started this car? Who started it? Oh, it's you two.
It was an accident, honest.
Sure, and it stopped, didn't it?
It stopped all right. It jammed. Smack into the switch.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir. On that call to Chicago?
Yes, put him on.
I'm sorry, sir. There'll be a 3-hour delay.
3 hours? Operator, don't you realize that brief has to be in by 5?
I'm sorry, sir. We'll do the best we can.
Thank you.
Now, Sam, calm down.
Calm down, Alice. Do you realize what losing that paper means?
But if you'll just tell me what sort of paper it was.
A newspaper.
A newspaper.
Yesterday's Times. I jotted it down on the margin and left it right here on the telephone table when you made me come to lunch.
Oh, dear. Sam, I thought it was just an ordinary Centerville Times.
Alice, what did you do with it?
I told Henry he could have it.
Henry has it?
Yes, that is, he has part of it.
Who has the rest?
Mary, all except the part I put on the trash pile outside.
On the trash pile? Maybe the part I want is there.
Well, the only thing is...
Yes?
Gus, the junk man, picked that up not more than 15 minutes ago.
Oh, no.
Are you home?
Mary, come in here at once.
My goodness, Father, you should have seen the excitement downtown. Traffic was tied up for blocks.
Never mind that.
They were jacking up a streetcar right in the middle of Main Street.
Alice!
Mary, what did you do with that part of the newspaper you wrapped Aunt Belle's vase in?
I left it in the White Elephant shop with the vase.
Go right back there and get it.
Yes, Father. Well, why?
I have some very important information written down on part of that paper.
Oh, my goodness, I'll run all the way.
Before you do, change into flat heels.
Never mind the flat heels, just start.
Yes, Father.
Did Henry say where he was going, Alice?
No, dear.
Well, I'll have to find him somehow. Meanwhile, you call Gus and tell him to bring all our papers right back.
Yes, dear. And how about a cup of tea?
Tea?
To calm you down.
I'll get it. That's Chicago.
I'll put on the water.
Go ahead, Chicago.
I should go where?
Henry, is that you?
Yes, Father. Boy, and do we need a lawyer.
Where are you?
Downtown with Homer. And the streetcar company insists we're responsible.
Henry, don't you move a step. I'm coming right down.
You are? Homer, we haven't a thing to worry about. I just got us the best lawyer in town.
Where'd your father go, Henry?
There he is, talking to the man from the streetcar company.
Where?
There, in front of the drugstore.
Oh, yeah. Boy, is that guy mad. See the way he's pointing his finger right in your father's face?
You'll notice, though, my father's pointing right back.
What happened, Henry? What happened?
They got the streetcar moving, I think.
Gee whiz, this is a fine thing. We're the ones who did the whole thing, and with all these people in front of us, I can't see a thing.
Henry, where are you?
Here, Father. Is everything settled?
Just let them sue. We'll sue right back. Now, Henry, let me have that paper.
What paper?
That you took from the house this morning.
The newspaper? The one with the ad in it?
Yes.
I don't have it.
We tore the ad out and threw the rest of it away.
Threw it away? Where?
On the trolley.
What trolley?
The one that was stuck in the switch.
There it is, going down the street.
Well, that's a fine thing. Come back!
Father, what have I done?
Come back!
Come back!
Now getting back to the troubles of Henry Aldrich, or rather Mr. Aldrich, for the newspaper on which he has written important information has disappeared in 3 directions. Right now, Mary is hurrying back to the White Elephant shop to retrieve her part of the paper.
Mrs. Miller! Mrs. Miller!
Why, Mary Aldrich, I was hoping you'd drop in again.
Mrs. Miller, you know that white elephant I brought in this morning?
That vase?
Yes.
Mary, I'm just as thrilled as I can be about that.
Yeah, but...
When you brought that in, Mrs. Hooker said to me, she's on the committee too, you know.
Yes, I know,
Well,
but...
Mrs. Hooker said we'll never be able to sell that thing. That white elephant's going to be a white elephant. Just kind of cute, I thought.
That vase, Mrs. Miller, where is it now?
That's what I'm getting at, Mary. I sold it.
You did?
To Mrs. Smith.
Oh, dear.
I had to talk her ear off, but I finally sold it to her for 95 cents.
But the newspaper, you still have that, don't you?
What newspaper?
That the vase was wrapped in.
My goodness, no. I tore it up and stuffed it in a vase.
What for?
To keep it from breaking. What's wrong?
Mrs. Miller, do you know where Mrs. Schmidt lives?
Oh, gracious, I could find out.
Could you? My father's entire career may depend on getting that paper back.
Father, are you sure that what you're after was on the part of the paper we had?
No, Henry, but it's liable to be, and I can't overlook a single possibility.
There's a streetcar, Mr. Aldrich.
Where?
Just ahead.
Oh, yes. Is that the trolley you were on, Henry?
I don't know. They all look alike.
It's stopping at that traffic light.
I'll pull over and park.
Father, that's it.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I remember that sign on the side of it. Ride the trolleys and smile.
Well, let's hail him before the light changes.
Homer, get out.
Hey there!
Hey!
Hey!
You calling me?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm not taking any passengers.
Oh, well, we don't wish to ride.
You see, there's a newspaper on your trolley.
You! It's you again.
Yes, sir.
And him.
Me?
You've got your nerve.
Henry, I'm going home.
Now, look here, my good man. If you'll just let us look through the car, we won't bother you again.
I'll say you won't, because none of you are setting foot in this car.
Now, see here.
Now, see here yourself. Would you mind getting off that step?
I'd be delighted after I've looked for my paper.
You can get it down at the Lost and Found.
You can't keep me off if I pay my fare.
I can, too. I'm not taking passengers. I'm headed for the car barn.
Now, see here. I'm a lawyer.
And I'm a motorman.
Are you letting me on this car?
Are you getting off that step?
Mother, are you still there?
Yes, dear. Did I hear you say you were in jail?
No, I'm at the car barn. It's Father who was in jail.
Oh, no.
But he's out now. And, Mother, he said that if Mary or Gus show up with part of that paper to send them down to the courthouse, he'll be waiting there.
Hey, Henry.
Mother, I've got to hang up now. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Henry, maybe you can explain what we're after to this man.
As I understand it, it's some kind of newspaper.
Yes, sir, and it's very important I get it back.
You could try Lost and Found. This is the employment office.
Employment? Is your name Full and Flesser?
Lingenfelser. How did you know?
Well, gee whiz, you're how this whole thing started.
Mister, where is Lost and Found?
They're closed for the day.
They are?
You wouldn't have much chance of finding it anyway. The conductors usually collect the papers and take them home.
All of them?
Usually. Our conductors are the best men read in town.
Would they even take a yesterday's Times?
No, they read that yesterday.
Well, then, Henry, maybe it's still on the car.
Which trolley was it?
The one that got stuck downtown.
Oh, that's poor Higgins's. Old 99. That trolley is down at the graveyard.
Where?
The graveyard. They decided to retire her. After all that happened today, they figure she's jinxed.
You mean trolleys have graveyards?
You'll find her down at the other end of the car barn.
Thanks. Homer, come on.
Henry, you know what I think?
What?
Let's forget about that job. After seeing what streetcar people go through, they don't get paid half enough.
Hello. Is this long distance?
Yes, sir.
Have you gotten through on my call to Chicago?
What's your name, sir?
Aldrich.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. There's still a slight delay.
Slight delay? I've been calling for 4 hours.
I'm sorry, sir.
Well, if you get through, I'm at, Elm 998. It's a payphone at the courthouse.
Yes, sir.
And keep trying, please. Goodbye.
Mr. Aldrich.
Yes?
It's me, Gus, the junk
Oh,
man.
yes. Have you got my papers, Gus?
I sure have, out in my wagon.
Well, come on. Let's get it. I hope to heaven what I'm after's on it. It's almost 4:30.
Well, I never thought I'd get here, but Sheila made the trip fine.
Sheila?
My horse. There she is, double parked.
Where's our papers?
On the wagon.
But this wagon's full of papers. Where's ours?
I don't know. That's everything I collected today. Your paper's in there somewhere.
But I can't go through a whole wagon load of papers right in front of the courthouse.
I don't know how you'll find it then.
Well, back Sheila up to the curb. I suppose I'll have to try.
Yes, sir. Back up there, Sheila girl. Back up. Hey, the wagon seems stuck somehow.
Hurry up, Gus. Here comes a policeman.
Well, I'll be hanged. No wonder she won't move. The wheels are stuck in the streetcar tracks.
What? Well, I'm not getting mixed up with the streetcar company again.
Hey, you can't leave me now.
Here comes Henry.
But what'll I tell the law?
Henry, here I am.
Boy, Father, we ran all the way.
Have you got the paper?
That's a long story. We went down to the graveyard, see?
What graveyard?
But they'd already cleaned old 99 out.
So we had to go to the incinerator. But it was already incinerated.
Father, I've got it.
What's that?
No, Mary. Where did you find it?
Where I've been all afternoon. And Mrs. Schmidt.
What for?
Pasting this newspaper together.
Never mind that. Read off what's there. It's 10 minutes to 5.
Yes, Father.
Oh, wait till I get this brief open. Go ahead.
From the top?
Yes. What's the first?
5 pounds of potatoes.
What?
What?
Then comes a pound of coffee.
Mary, that's a grocery list.
I know, but I thought it might be part of your case.
Mary, what kind of a case would I have with 5 pounds of potatoes?
Well, I didn't know. I thought I was just trying to help.
Oh, well, of course you were. I'm sorry, Mary.
I'm sorry, too, Father.
So am I, Mr. Aldrich.
Homer, keep out of it.
Well, thank you, Homer. Henry, I appreciate what you did, too. Well, we might as well go home.
You mean you're giving up, Father?
It's just a few minutes to 5. There isn't much hope left.
Does this mean you're ruined, Mr. Aldrich?
Well, not completely, Homer. Come on, Mary. We'll walk on ahead.
Boy, if we hadn't wanted those pilot's boots, that's what started the whole thing.
How, Henry?
If it hadn't been for them, we would never have called Helsenfesser for that job.
Helsenfesser? Henry, that man's name was Hockenduper.
Homer, you're crazy.
You're the one who's crazy.
Me?
Sure, I'll prove it.
How?
Here's that clipping with his name on it. Oh, gee whiz.
What's wrong?
Was his name Vol 3, Art 14?
What?
Oh, gee whiz, I was looking at the wrong side.
Vol 3, Art... Homer, let me see that. Oh, boy. Father!
Henry, what's wrong?
Father, come back! Come back!
Would you like a pillow for your feet, Sam?
No, thanks. This is fine.
Henry?
No, Mother. Boy, is this a comfortable couch.
My goodness, what a day. What time was the brief filed?
4:59.
And 3/4. boy, if it wasn't for the streetcar company suing us, everything would be fine.
Henry, would you do me a favor?
Sure, Father.
In the future, would you please stay away from streetcars?
You mean for the rest of my life?
If necessary.
Maybe you're right.
And Alice, I don't mean to criticize, but this whole thing would never have happened if we had a pad by the telephone.
Yes, dear. As a matter of fact, one came in the mail this morning. Here it is on this table.
Who's it from?
I haven't looked yet. Oh, my goodness.
What's so funny?
This pad.
There are jokes on it?
Sam, do you know what it says?
What?
For smoother writing, use this pad, by golly. For smoother riding, use the Centerville trolley.
What?
The trolley company sent us that? Well, what do you know?
Listen again next week, same time, same station, for another sparkling half hour with your favorite youngster, his family, and his pals. The Aldrich Family, starring Ezra Stone, is written by Clifford Goldsmith.
The Aldrich Family is distributed nationally by Nostalgia Broadcasting Corporation.
Stand by all stations.
Attention, all districts. A 5-alarm fire, 5 bells. Move in immediately.
That's it. Let's roll. Let's go. Firefighters. Presenting Firefighters, the true-to-life story of America's unsung heroes who stand ready to ride by day or night against our most murderous enemy, the demon of fire. In just a minute, we'll take you to the home of young Tim Collins, rookie fireman, at a moment when it looks as if he's about to lay hands on the culprit who rang in the false alarm that nearly cost Tim his life when, you remember, Tim was thrown from the ladder truck and sent to the hospital with a broken arm. Evidence has just turned up right in the Collins home. But first, here's something you'd like to know. Let's go, firefighters! Tim Collins, rookie fireman, has recovered from his broken arm and will soon be ready for service. Meanwhile, like every other man in the city fire department, he's looking for the owner of a certain red and green knit glove, the glove that was found under the firebox from which the mysterious culprit rang in the nearly fatal false alarm. To celebrate his recovery, Tim has invited his family, including brother Jimmy and sister Trudy, to go to the movies. As they prepare to leave the house, Mrs. Collins, Tim's mother, says to 14-year-old...
Better put your gloves on, Jimmy. It's pretty cold.
Oh, he can't, Mummy. He lost them.
I didn't either. Only lost one of them. See, here's the other one right here in my pocket.
Jim, let me see that glove.
What's the matter, son?
Well, this glove of Jimmy's. Yes, it's for the right hand. And the night of the blizzard, somebody dropped a glove, a red and green knitted glove for the left hand under the box where he rang in that false alarm.
Jimmy, what does this mean?
Oh, Mom, I lost my glove. That's all it means.
You lost your glove? Where?
I know, Tim. I know, Mummy. Why, he lost it.
Don't you dare say a word. Keep still. They think I'd pull a false alarm. I don't care what they
Oh,
think.
now, Jimmy, wait a minute. This is serious business. We don't want to think anything like that, but there's the evidence. If you can clear yourself, look, just tell us where you lost that other glove.
Oh, if I knew where it got lost, it wouldn't be lost, would it?
Let me, Tim. Now, Jimmy, look at me.
Yes, Mom.
Jimmy, you're a truthful, helpful, honest boy.
Oh.
Yes, you are. And I'm going to ask you just one question, Jimmy. Do you know anything at all about that false alarm the night of the blizzard?
No, Mom. Honest, I don't.
Well, then. Tim?
All right. I believe you, Jimmy. And, well, I won't even mention to Chief Cody that you have or had a glove like the one the arson squad is trying to trace. At least I won't mention it yet.
Glory be, that's over. Now, Tim Collins, you invited us all to the movies. Are you going to take us or are you not?
All right, you folks go on into the lobby, Mom. I'll get our tickets.
Come along, you two. We'll wait inside where it's warm.
4 seats, please, downstairs. Uh-huh. Thank you, miss.
Evening, Collins.
Who's that? Oh, hello, Chief Cody.
You didn't recognize me, huh?
Oh, no, sir, not in civilian clothes. Well, say, if you're going inside, why don't you sit with us, Chief?
I'd like to, son, but I'm on duty. Just doing a little plain clothes work.
Oh, on that false alarm case?
That's it. We tipped off the men on duty in theaters and other public places to keep an eye out for the mate to that red and green glove.
You know, it doesn't seem likely the culprit would keep it when the pair's been broken.
No, it's a thin chance, Collins.
Yes, sir, unless... Chief Cody, if there's going to be a wave of false alarms...
Right. One glove is enough to prevent fingerprints when the rascal pulls another box.
Now, we'll wait right here till Tim gets the tickets. Oh, good evening, Mrs. Cassidy. There's Mrs. Cassidy. She has a recipe I want. Look, Jimmy, Trudy, you stand here and watch for Tim.
Hi.
Oh, Mrs. Cassidy, before you go in, I'd like to...
Jimmy.
Huh?
Jimmy, why don't you let me tell them where you lost your glove? So they can be sure you weren't mixed up in that false alarm.
Don't you dare. If anybody tells, it's got to be me. Besides, I don't know where I lost it. All I know is how. Besides, plenty of kids wear gloves just like mine. I bet they lose them all the time.
Huh? Where'd you ever see anybody wearing gloves like that?
I forget, but I did so see somebody. I bet I'll remember who in a minute.
Hey, look at Jimmy Collins. Look at Jimmy out with his kid sister. Yay, Jimmy's gonna take his kid sister to the movie.
You watch yourself, Droopy, and never mind that fresh talk about my sister.
Silly old thing. Always pushing in where you're not welcome.
Oh, hey, you don't have to get sore. Can't you take a joke?
All right, but watch yourself.
Hey, look, some movie tonight, huh?
Yep. There's a big fire in the main feature. That's why we came. It's all about firemen.
Me too. I've seen it twice before. Oh, boy, when the fire trucks come screeching up the street, clang, 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 and the people all screaming and yelling. That's what I like. When they're yelling for help and they got the levers and lights get out of
Oh,
it.
hush, you're making so much noise. Everybody's looking at us.
Yeah, well, there'll be more noise than that when the special attraction begins. You'll be screaming and yelling same as the rest. Special attraction. That's good.
Oh, that droopy Dolan gives me the creeps.
Hey, kids, where's Mom? Oh, there she is with Mrs. Cassidy. Hello, Mrs. Cassidy. Come on, kids. Let's pick up Mom and go get our seats. I was delayed talking to Chief Cody out at the ticket office.
Well, Motors, here's a special idea for you. Long-distance touring...
Jimmy, stop wiggling around.
Yes, Mom.
Travelers in strange cities...
Trudy,
not make the mistake...
I just thought of something. I remember who had gloves just like mine. What if I tell Tim, maybe he'll think I'm making it up.
Oh.
Shh, don't say anything, but maybe Chief Cody should know.
But Tim saw him at the ticket window just now.
Hey, what's the matter with you two? Can't you keep still and watch the picture?
I'm thirsty.
Well, go get a drink then. And you better hurry or you'll miss the part in the picture where the fire starts.
All right, then. Let me, excuse me, Mom.
And now here's a very special safety idea for you. Here's something that I know about.
Chief Cody, could I see you a minute?
Well, Jimmy Collins.
Chief Cody, I knew somebody who had a pair of gloves like the ones you're looking for.
What's that? Who is it, son?
It's a fella that goes to Northside School with Trudy and me. Golly gosh, Chief Cody, I don't want to be a squealer.
I understand, Jimmy, but this isn't squealing. This is detective work.
Well, if somebody goes around pulling false alarms, he's got to be stopped. And if I know something about the case, I guess, maybe it's a kind of duty to tell.
It is your duty, son. It's your duty to help protect your neighbors and your own family, too. You understand what I mean?
Yes, sir, I do. Well, tonight, when Mom left Trudy and me waiting right over there, I was just trying to remember where I saw a pair of gloves like that, and... Golly, what's that?
Oh, just the movie, son. That's the big fire scene in the picture. All right, go ahead now.
Oh, I'm gonna miss it. Oh, well, never mind. Well, the fellow I was trying to remember walked right up to Trudy and me, and he said,
Fire! Fire! Run for your lives!
That didn't sound like a movie, Chief Cody.
Hold it a minute, Jimmy.
Fire! The theater's burning! Run! Everybody run!
You're right, Jimmy. That's some maniac spreading a panic.
Everybody run!
Jimmy, there's the manager's office there behind that door. Now get inside that office and wait until I come for you. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Some fool back there is hysterical.
These people, Tim, if they lose their heads and start rushing for the exit.
Yeah, someone's going to get hurt. Mom, you and Trudy stay here. Don't leave your seats until the aisles are clear.
All right.
Run, everybody run!
Here comes trouble, Mom. Let me out the aisle.
Run for your lives!
I got you.
Hey, let go! Run! Everybody run!
Stop that yelling. You're starting a panic. Lights! Turn on the house lights!
Let go! You let me go!
I'll let you go when I find it. Hey, come back here.
Try and catch me! Let me through! Let me get...
I got you.
Ease
This
up
time
there.
you want...
Ease up. This is Chief Cody.
Oh, sorry, sir. I was trying to... Well, this is Tim Collins, Chief.
Oh, good. Just the man I want. We've got to calm these people down.
Where'd the fire start, Chief?
There's no fire at all.
What?
Just some lunatic driving the audience wild with fright.
Oh, Chief, I had my hands on him. He broke away.
Never mind that. We'll get him in time. Now, Collins, you get up on that stage. Tell these people there's no danger before they kill themselves jamming the exit.
Yes, sir. I'm on my way. All right, let me through. All right, fire department, mister. Let me by.
All right, now, take your seats. There's no danger. There's no fire. Now, take your seats, please. Oh, great Scott, another false alarm. That fiend has fouled up half the fire department with another false alarm.
Now, there's a case of one person playing a cruel practical joke, threatening the lives of hundreds of innocent people in a theater audience. But Tim Collins and Chief Cody are on the spot. Jimmy Collins, Tim's younger brother, has remembered where he saw a pair of red and green knit gloves like the one the arson squad is trying to trace, and the case is rushing toward its climax. For what happens next, listen to our next true-to-life episode of The Firefighters. In just a moment, Chief Bob Cody will tell you, boys and girls, how you can help the firefighters in your own town. But first, here's a message you don't want to miss. And now, Chief Bob Cody, with a special assignment for all junior firefighters. Chief Cody.
Hello, boys and girls. This is Chief Cody calling you to attention for your special assignment. Attention, firefighters. You are to take special precautions next time you go to the movies or any place where crowds assemble. Make special note of the emergency exits. Make a plan in your own mind of how you would walk to safety and lead others in case of fire. And boys and girls, promise me this. If you are ever in such a place when fire breaks out, keep your heads. Keep cool and walk. Do not run. I repeat, do not run. Walk to the nearest exit. Well, that's all. Goodbye for now, and you'll be hearing from me soon.
Fire Chief Cody and the young rookie fireman Tim Collins will be back at the same time on the same station when you hear...
That's it. Let's roll.
Let's go, firefighters! Firefighters is written by Frank Jones and is a copyrighted feature of William F. Holland Productions.
For the safety of your smile, use Pepsodent twice a day. See your dentist twice a year. Lever Brothers Company presents the Pepsodent program. The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, starring Van Heflin. Pepsodent presents Philip Marlowe, Hollywood's famous private detective created by Raymond Chandler. Philip Marlowe, tough, cynical private eye of Murder My Sweet, the sardonic, case-hardened detective of The Brasher Doubloon, The Lady in the Lake, and The Big Sleep. You've seen him in action in all of those top-flight mystery pictures. Now, in order that you may continue to enjoy this exciting mystery series, Pepsodent brings you The Adventures of Philip Marlowe on the air with a cast of noted radio players and starring MGM's brilliant and dynamic young actor, Van Heflin. Now, families all over America have named their favorite toothpaste. New Pepsodent with Irium. New fresh-tasting Pepsodent with the new cool, minty flavor. It's the 3-to-1 favorite over all other toothpastes.
It's true. With families all over America, new Pepsodent is the favorite 3-to-1.
Families from coast to coast recently compared new Pepsodent with other toothpastes at home. They preferred new Pepsodent by an overwhelming average of 3-to-1 over all other brands they tried. These families, 3-to-1, said new Pepsodent tastes better, makes breath cleaner, makes teeth brighter.
Yes, families 3-to-1 say new Pepsodent tastes better, makes breath cleaner, makes teeth brighter.
Get new Pepsodent toothpaste for your family right away.
There was a rough desert wind blowing into Los Angeles that evening. It was one of those hot, dry Santa Anas that come down through the mountain passes and curl your hair, make your nerves jump and your skin itch. On nights like that, every booze party ends up in a fight, and meek little housewives feel the edge of a carving knife and study their husbands' necks. Anything can happen when the Santa Ana blows in from the desert. I closed up my office early. I got tired of reading Philip Marlowe, private investigator, backwards on the ground glass of my office door. So I opened the door and closed it from the outside and locked it and went out to get a beer before I went up to my apartment.
Fill her up again, Mr. Marlin?
Marlowe.
Marlowe.
Marlin is a fish.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, you bartender. Give me another rye.
Drunk again. What'd you expect in this business? Autograph hounds?
Make it snappy, you hear?
Be right with you, sport. I gotta draw this man a beer. Crying out loud, these stumble bums who come in here.
You got another customer, Bacchus?
Hey, Bud. You seen a lady in here lately?
A lady?
Tall, good-looking, brown hair, a print bolero jacket, and a blue silk dress.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Nobody like that's been in.
All right, straight scotch, fast. I left my engine running out there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This slick-looking, sarcastic guy stepped up to the bar and drank his scotch whole. Then he turned to go out, and he stopped. The drunk was grinning at him. And then, without changing his grin, the drunk swept a gun from somewhere so fast it was just a blur coming out. Made a couple of hard snaps, and a little smoke curled. Very little.
All right, you other guys. Don't move. So long, Waldo. All right, don't move, you two. Oh, Waldo. Bet I made his nose bleed. So long, boys. Drink up.
All right, get on that phone, kid. I'll get his license number.
Holy smoke. Holy smoke.
Too late. Drove away with this dead guy's car.
Maybe he ain't dead.
He's dead, all right. Where's your phone? This is for the police. The prowl car boys were there in about 5 minutes. Waldo was out of business, all right, and nothing in his pockets told who he was, but he had about $700 on him. I told the cops what I knew, including about Waldo's tall, brown-haired, pretty girl in the bolero jacket. It was about 9 o'clock when I stepped out of the elevator in my apartment house and almost walked right into a tall, brown-haired, pretty girl in a bolero jacket, waiting for the elevator on my floor.
Oh, excuse me.
Just a minute, lady.
I said excuse me. I'm in a hurry. Now, if you'll be good enough to step out
Look, you better
of...
not go outside in those clothes.
Just what do you mean by telling me what?
This isn't a make. You're in trouble.
Trouble?
Yeah, the cops are looking for you in those clothes.
But I haven't done anything that...
I'm in room 41 across the hall now. I never collected an etching in my life.
All right, I'll go with you.
I'll go.
I got to my room and rustled up some scotch and soda and brought the girl her glass. She had a small automatic in her hand. It jumped up at me, and her eyes were full of panic. I put down both glasses on the table slowly so that I wouldn't be misunderstood. Look, sister, maybe this wind has got you crazy, too.
Don't move. Be careful, don't move.
A man just got shot in a bar down the street. Before he got it, he'd been asking about a tall, pretty girl with a bolero jacket, like yours.
What did he look like, this man?
Tall, 5'11", slim, dark brown eyes with a lot of glitter, dark suit, white handkerchief in the breast pocket. And he must have seen you earlier tonight to know how you were dressed. Am I getting anywhere?
He used to be my chauffeur.
You had an appointment with him, didn't you?
Why?
Listen, he asked for you, didn't he?
Yes, I had an appointment with him. He'd stolen something from me when he left 3 days ago. I was going to buy it back from him.
Why didn't you tell the police?
I couldn't tell them.
It was valuable, wasn't it? Valuable enough for Waldo to steal?
$15,000.
Oh, it's peanuts.
But it wasn't the value. It meant something to me. The man I love gave it to me, and now he's dead. He was a flyer shot down over Germany. I'll go back and tell my husband that. He probably hired you.
He did? Well, how much is he paying me? And where is this husband of yours?
He's at a meeting.
This late at night?
He's a very important man. He's a hydroelectric engineer. I'll have you know that my husband is one of...
Skip it. I'll take him out to lunch sometime and have him tell me himself. And about Waldo, whatever he had on you is dead stock now, like Waldo himself.
You mean he's dead? Waldo is dead?
Yes, sister, he's dead. Dead. Lady, he is dead.
Oh.
Now scream and I'll give you 2 black eyes.
I'm not going to scream. Who would that be?
There's a dressing room behind that door. Hide there. Now, don't argue with me. Do it.
All right.
Then I went to the door, making a loud, yawning sound. The backs of my hands were wet. I opened the door. Without a gun, that was a mistake. I certainly knew the gun I was looking into, a .22 target automatic that had already killed one man that night. And I knew the bald head and the flat, shiny eyes and the face like a poisonous lizard. Baldy put the muzzle of his gun lightly against my throat. I backed into the room, and Baldy kicked the door shut.
You alone?
Look for yourself.
I'm asking, not looking.
I'm alone.
You and that dumb bartender saw me dust off Waldo.
What did Waldo do to you?
Who's asking?
Just making conversation.
He stooled on me on a bank job we did together. Got me 4 years in Michigan pen. How is he?
Dead.
I'm still good, drunk or sober. Tell me why I came here, pal.
You heard the barkeeper and me talking. I told him my name, where I lived.
That's how, pal. I said why.
Skip it. The hangman won't ask you to guess why he's there.
Oh, you're pretty tough at that, ain't you? But you're slamming off, pal.
All right, but you could get that gun out of my neck and try somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, sure. Is this better? This suit you all right?
Just so it isn't my neck.
Say when, pal? It's your party.
I leaned against the gun. The door of the dressing room showed a crack of darkness. The crack widened. I began to shake a little. The girl came quietly into the room, but there was white all around her irises. She was scared. She had her gun in her hand, but I was sorry for her. Dead sorry. She'd try to make the door scream either way. It'd be curtains for both of us.
You scared, mister? You worried about any little thing?
I couldn't talk. The girl floated in the air somewhere behind Baldy, and her horrified face was drifting toward us. My mouth was as cold and dry as yesterday's toast.
Well, kid, how's it feel? You ready yet? Go on, say the word.
Well, don't take all night about it if you're gonna do something about it.
Why not, pal? I like this.
Well, suppose I yell.
Go ahead, yell. Go ahead.
Put up your hands!
Hey, look!
Oh.
Thanks, sister. Thanks. That buys me. Everything I have is yours now and forever.
Is he dead?
You flatter me no end, lady. I only punched him. All right, now get out of here while I call the cops down on this killer.
Yes. Good night. Good
Hey,
night.
wait. Leave that bolero jacket here. It marks you for the cops.
Oh, yes. Here.
Okay. See you again?
Why?
Oh, I don't know. No, I guess not. After all, who am I to be the rival of a dead flyer? I'll see that the police get Jesse James here. Good night, lady. Yeah? You mean me?
Yes, please.
Oh, you. Again, huh?
Get in. I must talk to you.
You want to know what happened at headquarters, huh?
Yes.
Well, I went down there with the law and gave them the story. I left you out of it.
Oh, thank you.
You saved my life, so no one knows a thing about you. Well, incidentally, neither do I.
Well, my name is Mrs. Frank Bossley. 212 Fremont Place, Olympia 24596. Is that what you want?
I guess so.
Well, there it is.
Now, why did you really come back?
I wanted my pearls.
Pearls?
Yes.
Pearls, too, huh? All right. Tell me about the pearls. We've had a murder and a beautiful mystery woman and a sadistic killer and a heroic rescue. Now we will have pearls.
I was to buy them back from the man called Waldo.
Well, I saw everything that came out of his pockets, and there weren't any pearls.
Could they be hidden in his apartment?
It's possible.
Waldo lived on the same floor you do in this apartment house.
And why didn't I know him, at least by sight?
He moved in last week. He managed to get a sublet.
Great, a sort of an amateur magician on the side, huh?
It's getting rather late.
Yeah. What about your husband this hot, mysterious night?
He's still at his meeting.
Well, you could have brought him along. You could have sat in the back seat working out a problem in hydroelectrics while...
While what?
Well, I didn't have any answers. They wouldn't sound cheap or just ridiculous or from the sophomore class in repartee. I had an unlit cigarette in my hand. I threw it out of the window. I took a hold of her and kissed her. She sat very still. I was shaking when I let go of her. Her voice trembled a little when she spoke.
I meant you to do that. I wasn't always that way. Only since Johnny Dalmas was killed in the war. He gave me those pearls. 41 of them perfectly matched with a diamond propeller clasp. I'd have loved them if they'd been wooden beads because he gave them to me. I love Johnny. The way you love just one time. You understand that?
What's your name?
Lola.
Lola, how did you explain a $15,000 pearl necklace to your husband?
I told him they were imitation, then I bought them myself.
How did Waldo latch onto them and what they stood for?
When my husband was in Argentina, Waldo and I'd go for long drives. I was restless and wretched because of Johnny. Sometimes Waldo and I had a little drink together, but that's all.
But you confided in Waldo about those pearls.
I was a fool.
And when your husband came back, Waldo stole the pearls and offered to sell them back to you, or he'd tell Papa, huh?
I was a fool.
And now you think the pearls are upstairs in Waldo's apartment?
I suppose it's a lot to ask.
No, sweetheart, huh? I've been paid. I'll go look. Wait here, huh? Was the gun long, Lola?
No. Well?
No.
No pearls?
No pearls.
Oh.
There was a man in Waldo's room.
A man? Who?
You know a man named Leon Balsanos?
Not by name. I don't know.
Mexican, South American, about 45, small, iron gray hair, very neat, fawn-colored suit, wine-colored tie.
No, I don't think I know such a man. Is he the one in Waldo's room?
Yeah.
What does he have to say?
Very little. In fact, nothing. He's dead.
You are listening to The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, starring Van Heflin, with music composed and conducted by Lynn Murray. Yes, families all over America have named their favorite toothpaste. New Pepsodent with invigorating Irium foam. New fresh-tasting Pepsodent with a new, cool, minty flavor. It's the 3-to-1 favorite over all other toothpastes.
It's true. With families all over America, new Pepsodent is the favorite 3-to-1.
The Farrell family of Evergreen Park, Illinois, preferred New Pepsodent on every single count. The Farrells say New Pepsodent tastes best of all, makes breath cleaner, makes teeth brighter. On all these counts, by an overwhelming average of 3-to-1, families prefer New Pepsodent over all other toothpaste they've tried.
It's a fact. Families 3-to-1 say new Pepsodent tastes better, makes breath cleaner, and makes teeth brighter.
Remember, this is not just our opinion. It's the honest conviction of the Farrells and other families who compared New Pepsodent with other toothpaste they had at home. Get New Pepsodent, the only toothpaste containing Irium. Get it for your family without delay. We continue with the adventures of Philip Marlowe, created by Raymond Chandler and starring Van Heflin, who appears by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of the Technicolor musical Fiesta, starring Esther Williams.
I sat with Lola Barsley in her car listening to that jittery, infuriating desert wind gallop around in the midnight streets. I just told her about the Latin-looking man I'd found in Waldo's room in a very dead condition. I held her hands until they stopped trembling. Then I gave her the few remaining details. He had a gun in a shoulder holster, but someone had strangled him before he could use it.
Someone? Waldo?
Maybe. You see that convertible coupe 2 cars ahead of us?
It's been there for hours. It was there before I parked here to wait for you.
Leon, the man in Waldo's room, came in that car, but according to the key containers he carried, that isn't his car.
Whose car is it? Does it matter?
Well, it belongs to a lady according to the tag on the keys.
A lady?
Well, anyway, a woman, if you're going to split hairs. Eugenie Kolchenko. In West Los Angeles?
Never heard of her.
Uh-huh. All right, well, you go home now, huh?
What are you going to do?
Drive that flossy convertible around, wave at my friends, impress people. You run along now. Me, I've got another date.
Yes? What is it, please?
Miss Eugenie Kolchenko?
Yes? What is it?
Did you lose or misplace a pigeon gray convertible coupe?
What are you saying?
Now, don't be alarmed. I found it and I brought it home to you.
Come in, please. It is a reward you wish. Shall we say...
Snap out of it, Dragon Lady. Who was he?
Who was who?
The little guy, Leon. You loaned your car to. He's dead. Who was he?
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Eugenie.
Darling, come here, please.
What's the matter, honey? Who is this man?
I came about Miss Kolchenko's car.
What about her car?
The gentleman who borrowed it couldn't return it on account of he isn't alive.
He's dead. Darling, he's dead.
Well, that's putting it more bluntly, of course.
Dead, huh?
Completely.
Who are you?
Philip Marlowe, private investigator. My card.
Mm-hmm. You told the police yet?
Never do at once what can be deferred pending negotiations. Aesop.
I might negotiate.
Oh, peachy.
What do you know, Marlowe?
A man named Waldo was shot in a bar tonight. I happened to have the inside as to who he was, and when I visited his apartment tonight, I found this Leo Balsanos dead.
He wouldn't have had $500 in 20s on him, would he?
No, but this Waldo had over $700 on him when he was killed at that cocktail bar, mostly in 20s. Is there a basis there for negotiations yet?
Very well, Marlowe. I'm a married man. There were certain unpaid bills for some stuff Miss Kolchenko here had charged to my account.
But you told me I might charge to your account.
All right, so I wasn't very bright.
That might be the understatement of the decade, but go on.
I had the unpaid bill safely in my briefcase. Somehow this Waldo had a chance to steal the briefcase. I hired Leon and gave him $500 to buy back those bills from Waldo.
Instead, Waldo took Leon's dough and was forced to kill Leon in the process. And then he went out to keep another date and accidentally walked into an old pal hostile enough to blow him down.
And someone still has those bills. And I'm in for a divorce suit.
The man who shot Waldo got away in Waldo's car with your briefcase in it. Yeah, that could be. The cops caught him.
Oh. And the police have the briefcase.
Maybe. But the police are interested in solving crime, not in tossing mud for the benefit of sensation eaters. Look, I've got a friend or two at headquarters. Let me see what I can do.
It's worth $500 to me.
Well, then that's what it'll cost you.
Well, good luck. And, thank you, Mr.
Marlowe. Philip Marlowe, remember?
My name is Frank Barcelay.
Barcelay? Oh.
What does that mean?
The big hydroelectric engineer?
Yeah. How did you know?
My voices tell me.
Who?
Darling, this man is manifestly insane.
It's the heat, Miss Kolchenko. It's the Santa Ana. It's the desert wind. May I use your telephone? Someday I must tell you about Ibarra. Salt of the earth Ibarra, detective, lieutenant over at Central Homicide. I phoned Ibarra from Miss Kolchenko's house and told him where he could find a well-dressed cadaver named Leon and furnished a few small details. I gave Ibarra time to check my tip, and then I went down to see the good lieutenant and told him why I'd been up in Waldo's room, only to find Leon instead of a certain lady's string of pearls.
Pearls, eh?
Well, I thought Waldo might have them up there.
Whose pearls were they?
A lady's.
Go on.
Or they might have been in Waldo's car that Waldo's killer drove away in.
Yeah.
Oh, what, yeah?
They might have.
Also a batch of unpaid bills charged to the account of a certain Frank Barcelay?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, now, the police aren't interested in domestic scandal. They want to prevent or to solve crime, right?
So?
So I've got $500 for the police fund if those pearls and those bills are returned to their rightful owners.
Quit your kidding.
No, it's a valuable necklace.
Yeah? There's your necklace.
That's it. 41 pearls, perfectly matched diamond propeller clasp. That's it. That's the one.
Take it away, Marlowe.
On the level?
Just tell me straight what it's all about, all I ask.
Sure. Well, this Waldo was blackmailing a wife with the pearls and her husband with the bills, a guy by the name of Barcelay. Well, Barcelay sent Leon to get the bills from Waldo. Instead, Waldo killed Leon, then stepped out and happened to get shot by that guy at the bar. Now, if Barcelay's name stays out of the paper, I get $500. And that goes to the police fund.
We'll keep him out.
Well, now, I'm not in this case for money. I just want to get back the bills and the pearls.
As you say, Marlowe, the police aren't in business to sling mud.
Well, you can deliver the pearls to the lady yourself if you like. She lives at...
No, Marlowe. You better take them to her. You see, except for the diamond propeller clasp on them, they're phony.
Phony? But...
All but the clasp, Marlowe. All but the clasp.
Well, I stared at Ibarra. So the flyer, Johnny Dalmas, the great lover, had given Lola a string of fake pearls. Well, I didn't know how to tell her, but I called her up and told her to meet me at the Beachcombers at 2. I was going to slip her the bad news slowly.
I'm glad you asked me to meet you here, Mr. Marlowe. See, I had to have someone to talk to.
Go ahead. Go ahead, talk. I'm listening.
Now, Mr. Marlowe, now more than ever, I must have those pearls.
Why? Money trouble?
Oh, no. It's just that everything's gone wrong. And this morning, my husband told me we're to separate.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lola.
But if I had Johnny's pearls, it would be a link with the past and with Johnny. And all he meant to me. It's how a woman feels, Mr. Marlowe. I wouldn't blame you for not understanding.
Maybe I do, though.
So please, Mr. Marlowe, please, you'll try to find my pearls.
Lola, look,
Even if it isn't all of them. Any part of them. Any single smallest one of them. It'll be Johnny's.
Look, will you meet me here again around 4 o'clock?
I'll be here.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. There was only one earthly decent thing I could do. I took Lola's glass pearls to a jeweler, and I had him take off the diamond clasp and put it on one of those strings of so-called simulated pearls that they sell you for $3, tax included. Then went back to keep my 4 o'clock date with Lola at the Beachcombers.
Well, Mr. Marlowe, anything new?
Yes, the police found some pearls in Waldo's car.
They found my pearls?
No, not exactly.
Not exactly.
Well, Waldo was getting set to gyp you, Lola. He had the diamond clasp of your necklace attached to a string of cheap imitations. And then he sold the real pearls.
Oh, how... Oh.
These are the imitations here.
Yes. But it is my clasp. The clasp is real.
Is that all right?
Yes, it's the clasp that Johnny Dalmas gave me. Of course it's all right.
Oh, that's swell.
And thank you so much, Mr. Marlowe.
Forget it.
I won't. Not ever. Well, is this goodbye?
Yeah, I think so. You'll never get over Johnny Dalmas, Lola. If anybody ever bothers you again, though, well, let me know. Name's Philip Marlowe. I drove almost to Malibu, and then I parked and walked out on a rock cliff jutting into the Pacific Ocean. Then I reached in my pocket and dug out the string of bohemian glass pearls that Lieutenant Ibarra had found in Waldo's car. I cut the knot at one end and slipped the pearls off one by one. One by one, I flipped them into the water. The gull swooped down on them and then flapped up again, screaming indignantly. The phony pearls had fooled Waldo and Lola Barsley, but they couldn't fool a seagull. I said to myself, to the memory of Johnny Dalmas, just another four-flusher. I listened a while to the wheeling seagulls. All at once, I realized that the wind had died. The Santa Ana had blown itself out. The red wind was done. It was over.
You have just heard Van Heflin starring in the first of a new mystery series, Raymond Chandler's The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, brought to you by the Lever Brothers Company, makers of Pepsodent. Have you tasted the new Pepsodent toothpaste? Its lingering, minty flavor is so fresh and inviting, families prefer it by an overwhelming average of 3-to-1 over all other toothpastes in a recent nationwide test. They said new Pepsodent tastes better, makes breath cleaner, and makes teeth brighter. Remember, new Pepsodent gives you more invigorating irium foam. It sweeps dulling film away. No wonder it's the 3-to-1 favorite with families all over America. Get new Pepsodent with irium for your family right away. Tonight's story on the adventure of Philip Marlowe is based on Red Wind, written by Raymond Chandler, creator of Philip Marlowe, the screen's most famous private detective. It was adapted for radio by Milton Geiger. Heard with Van Heflin was Lorene Tuttle as Lola Barsley. And this is Wendell Niles inviting you to listen again next week at this same time to another exciting story on the adventures of Philip Marlowe, starring Van Heflin with a distinguished cast.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Say, want a brand new breakfast idea? Then get the Betty Crocker cereal tray, the Betty Crocker cereal tray. Yes, indeed. Try the brand new cereal assortment with 10 individual packages in all. 4 Wheaties, 4 Cheerios, 2 Kicks. All top favorites and all extra fresh. Yes, it's fun to take your pick from Wheaties, Cheerios, and Kicks. Get the Betty Crocker cereal tray, the Betty Crocker cereal tray. Get that tray today.
The House of Squibb presents Academy Award. Every week, Squibb brings you Hollywood's finest. The great picture plays, the great actors and actresses, techniques and skills chosen from the honor roll of those who have won or been nominated for the famous Golden Oscar of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. And now, E.R. Squibb & Sons, manufacturing chemist to the medical profession since 1858, bring you, as our star tonight, the distinguished actor William Powell, who has twice been nominated for the Academy Award as Best Actor of the Year. You will hear Mr. Powell in that delightful comedy, My Man Godfrey, the picture which was nominated in 6 different classifications for the 1936 Academy Award.
This is a story of the Depression, a sad time when America had a headache. Brokers jumped from tall buildings, and a lot of folks sold apples on street corners. It was a very sad time indeed, in which the rich got richer and the poor got poorer. And our poor hero lived in a shack in a city dump. Yet his heart was pure, though his pockets were empty, and he wore a beard, and his name was Godfrey.
George, what a horrible place.
Yes, Cornelia. This is what is called the dump.
Oh. Good evening. Are you a bum?
Yes, I'm a bum.
Good. I'm Cornelia Bullock.
Oh, yes, indeed. Of the Bullocks?
How would you like to make $5?
Well, add it to what I've got, that would make $5.
All right, then follow me.
Just a minute. Not that I mean to be inquisitive, but what would I have to do?
Now, don't be fussy.
Well, I'd like to know. I'm funny that way.
Well, you certainly are. Well, we're having a scavenger hunt, and I need a forgotten man. All I want to do is show you to some people at the Waldorf, that's all.
Show me to some people at the Waldorf? Are we dressing?
Look, do you want the $5 or don't you?
Madam, your offer is very intriguing. But I'm afraid I can't arrive at a decision myself. I'm afraid I'll have to take it up with the board of directors. And no matter what the board of directors advise, as far as I'm concerned, you can take your $5 and...
I say, you coward, hitting a lady.
Oh, you? All right, I don't mind hitting a gentleman either.
George, aren't you going to do something?
Yes, Cornelia, I am. Come, we'll get a policeman.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Irene. That was my sister Cornelia you pushed into the ash heap. I've wanted to do that all my life. Do you live here?
Yes, my real estate agent found this place. He felt the altitude would help my asthma.
I have an uncle who has asthma.
Yeah, bring him down by all means. Now, look at the view. Of course, spring is a little late this year, but the ash cans are sprouting nicely.
Yes, it is very nice, but I have to be going. Really, I've got to go back and see who won the game. I hope it wasn't Cornelia, but she is so lucky.
So, if she gets there first with the forgotten man, she wins?
Yes.
Well, let's go.
Oh, would you? I mean, really? How wonderful. You know what I'm going to do for you?
Godfrey is the name.
Yes. Godfrey, if we win, I'm going to hire you as our family butler. Godfrey's a wonderful name for a butler, don't you think?
Oh, naturally. Well, come on, don't forget your forgotten man. Pardon me, but I'm the new...
The new butler. Oh, yes. I'm Molly, the cook. Just hang your hat near the door so you can get it on your way out. Oh, but since you're here, why not go in and shave? The last butler left his shaving cream and razor in there.
Thank you. You don't seem very enthusiastic about the Bullock family.
Have you met them?
I've met the daughters.
Yeah, the daughters, of course. Irene isn't so bad. She's just dumb. But I mean dumb. But Cornelia... Well, someday when I'm 60 and getting that $200 a month from the Townsend plan, I'm going to tell Cornelia some of the things that are on my mind. It'll be a very interesting monologue, if I do say so myself.
You intrigue me. Tell me more about the family, Molly.
Well, there's the old battle axe. That would be Mrs. Bullock. Angelica, she calls herself. She rings every morning around 11.
What do you do when she rings?
Well, what I do is forget the whole thing. If you don't answer, she goes back to sleep until 2. Then she gets up with a hangover. Oh, not just an ordinary one. She sees things.
Very interesting. Is there a Mr. Bullock?
Oh, yes, but don't pay any attention to him. Nobody else does, and the shock might kill him. Oh, that's her, the battle axe. Hey, what are you doing pouring 3 shots of brandy?
I have an idea. Where's my butler suit?
In there. Well, what idea?
Where is Angelica's room?
3rd floor, last room to the left. But if you're going up there, take your hat with you.
Certainly not. No gentleman enters a lady's boudoir with his hat on. Good morning, madam. A reasonably nice morning, I think.
Oh, this is one of the silliest dreams I ever had. Now be a good fellow and go away and haunt somebody else.
But I can't go away, madam. I've got to stay. My duty.
Who are you, anyway?
I'm the new butler.
Oh, what became of the old one?
Oh, he disappeared. It's a very sad story, very sad.
Ah, but that's life. Look out!
What's the matter?
You nearly stepped on those 3 little men.
Ah, but I'm careful. Look, I stepped right over them.
So you did.
Would you like them to go away, madam?
Yes, but don't be rough with them.
No. Just try one of these, little brandies.
Oh, what a beautiful idea.
Now count your little men.
Why, there are only 2.
Well, you see, it was practically painless, wasn't it?
Just like Novocaine, I didn't feel a thing. Do you think you could get rid of the other 2?
Same way. One at a time.
Well, what do you know? All gone. You know something? I got a beautiful idea.
Yes, madam?
If I had another one of those, I could get rid of you, too.
Well, that won't be necessary, madam. I was just going anyhow.
Now, I suppose you're going into Miss Irene's room.
Yes, this is a very nice way of meeting the family.
Well, here's the tray, and watch your step.
It's simple.
Oh, Godfrey.
Good morning, miss.
Oh, Godfrey, you shaved. And I loved your whiskers.
They may grow back, you know. Shall I pour the coffee?
Yes, Godfrey. Now we're going to have a nice long chat. I want to know what you think about everything.
I'd love to, miss, but I've really got to get straightened out a bit downstairs. You know how it is when you first move into a place.
Oh, certainly. Why don't you go down and take a nice hot bath and a nap, and we can talk after lunch?
Yes, I'll do that. I'll see you later, miss.
Goodbye.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Bullock, Alexander Bullock.
Yes, I know.
And yours?
Godfrey, sir.
Glad to know you, Mr. Godfrey. I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
By all means, sir.
How do you feel about the younger generation?
Why, I think they're all right. Of course, they're a little broad-minded.
Well, you think perhaps they might be a little too broad-minded?
How do you mean, sir?
Well, if you were the father of a young lady and saw a man coming out of her room, how would you feel about it?
Oh, but wait, sir. I'm not what you think. I'm the new butler.
The new butler? Don't make me laugh. I hire all the butlers around here.
Your daughters hired me last night, sir, with your wife's approval.
Excuse me, Mr. Bullock, but there's a policeman to see you.
What does he want?
He wants you to straighten out a bill for damages from Cartier. It seems like Miss Cornelia broke all their windows last night.
Well, all right. Anything else, Molly?
Yes, sir. That Mr. McGinty who drives the hansom cab is here.
And what did Miss Cornelia do to McGinty?
It was Miss Irene, sir. He wants his horse back.
I never saw his horse.
Beg pardon, sir. It's in the library.
Preposterous.
Not preposterous, sir. I think his name is Carrots.
Godfrey, come here.
Yes, Miss Cornelia.
I seem to be under the impression that my sister has fallen in love with you.
With me, miss?
Ridiculous, of course. Oh, Godfrey, there's a spot on my shoe. Would you mind?
Not at all, miss. I'll clean it in a hurry.
Thank you. I rather like you better kneeling, Godfrey. Shows that you accept the fact that there are 2 classes, the upper and lower. And when one of the lower class forgets himself, he's got to be taught a lesson. And I'm the girl who can teach him. I'll get busy on my other shoe.
Certainly, Miss Cornelia. As you said, a servant should always be a servant.
Well, what's going on?
Oh, nothing. I found a little spot on my shoe, and Godfrey offered to clean it for me. That's all, Godfrey, and thank you so much.
Not at all, miss.
Godfrey, you look positively handsome in that suit. Doesn't he, Cornelia?
Oh, Godfrey's taste is excellent.
Well, it's really my taste. I helped him pick it out, you know.
Oh, did you? Well, wasn't that nice? That'll be all now, Godfrey.
Thank you, miss.
So you picked out Godfrey's suit.
And what of it? Listen to me, Cornelia. You let me alone and you let Godfrey alone. And don't ask him to shine your shoes. He's a butler, not a bootblack.
I'm going to teach him a lesson.
And I'm going to teach you a lesson. Did you ever get a good swift sock in the jaw?
Why, you...
And here you are. Hello, darlings. Well, have you been talking things over? That's good. I'm so lucky to have two daughters who talk things over with each other. Yes, yes, indeed.
Oh, you must not come into my room, Miss Irene.
Why not? It's our house, isn't it? One room is like another. Godfrey,
Yes, miss?
aren't you going to kiss me?
I don't approve of ladies kissing their butlers.
That sounds very snobbish. Every morning you serve me breakfast in my room. And here I am now, in your room.
Yes, and if anybody come in now, I'd be discharged.
Why would they discharge you?
Look, Miss Irene, hasn't your mother ever told you anything?
About what?
About things, any kind of things.
No, Mother never says anything. Haven't you noticed it?
Well, your father must have talked to you.
Oh, no. Father never talks to anybody.
Then I'll do the talking.
Don't I do any?
You just listen. You gave me a job, and I appreciate it, and I want to keep it.
But I want you to keep it, Godfrey.
Well, then listen to me. The first thing you must do is to stay out of my room.
I don't like this talk. Let's talk about something else, huh?
Oh, no, we're going to finish this. Now, another thing you ought to do. You ought to get yourself engaged to one of those young men who come around.
Oh, I am. They're announcing it tonight, but I don't like them. They're such awful nitwits. I like older men.
Older men are dangerous.
Why are they dangerous?
Well, you just have to take my word for it. They're dangerous. And so are butlers. Keep away from them. Marry somebody of your own age, your own class, your own intelligence.
But if I marry somebody with my own intelligence, how about the children? They'll be morons, won't they?
Well, not necessarily. You can't tell.
Yes, you can. You just don't care, that's all. All right, then, I'll go and marry one of those nitwits, and I'm going to have a lot of children and all of them morons. And I'll tell everybody it's your fault.
Whenever in real life you happen to find yourself in a situation totally strange, you can always count on a bright, winning smile to help you make the friends you need. And a smile that's hard to resist is easy to cultivate when you brush your teeth with Squibb Dental Cream, the refreshing dental cream. It's such a pleasure to use. Your whole mouth awakens to a frosty tang of mint, exhilarating as a fresh October wind from the sea. You'll enjoy the brisk, mouth-refreshing action of Squibb Dental Cream, and watch that smile. See how much of its natural sparkle is revealed when you use Squibb Dental Cream regularly. That's because the polishing agent in Squibb Dental Cream is one of the most effective known to dental science. Safe, soft, and fine. So if you want your smile to do more for you, do more for your smile. Start tomorrow to brush your teeth with Squibb Dental Cream, one of the great family of Squibb products. Taste, feel, and see the refreshing difference. In a moment, we will bring you part 2 of My Man Godfrey. Universal International's current release is The Dark Mirror, starring Olivia de Havilland. And now, the House of Squibb presents part 2 of Academy Award, starring William Powell in My Man Godfrey.
engagement party, sister dear.
And what's it to you?
Not a thing. But I do think you could get yourself a man to dance with out of all this crowd.
I could if I wanted to.
I notice you're not very effective with butlers.
Cocktails, miss?
Yes, thanks. Do have one, Irene. Godfrey makes these himself. Didn't you, Godfrey?
Yes, miss.
Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if mine were poisoned.
Excuse me, miss. Other guests.
I wish mine were poisoned. You know, Cornelia, it's too bad you and I didn't live in the days of the Borgias, when it wasn't against the law to poison your sister.
If we'd been living in those days, Irene, you would never have lived as long as you have. To your good health.
I hope you choke.
Oh, that's Tommy Gray, the polo player. I didn't know he was in town. Oh, girls, look who's here.
Ah, the Bullock Beauties.
When did you get in, Tommy?
Tommy himself.
Cocktail, madam?
Dear Godfrey, surely even you must have heard of Tommy. Why, he's one of the biggest polo players in the world. He goes around in the 70s.
Very interesting, madam.
Tommy, boy, so nice to see you.
So nice to be here, Angelica.
Godfrey, come back here. Offer Tommy a cocktail.
Yes, madam. Cocktail, sir?
Yeah. For heaven's sake, Godfrey. Godfrey Park.
Smith, sir. Godfrey Smith. No cracks.
Oh, good old Godfrey. What's a racket?
No racket. Butler.
Oh. Well, thank you, Godfrey. What butler? Nicholas Murray Butler?
Why, Tommy, do you know Godfrey?
Why, do I know him? Oh, he was with me for 3 years at...
I beg your pardon, sir. Did I step on you?
No. My fault.
Oh, interesting. You were saying, Tommy, Godfrey was with you for 3 years.
Oh, yes, miss. 3 years as his valet.
Yes, thanks. Lunch tomorrow?
Yes, the Harvard Club.
You mean Godfrey was a valet? He never told me.
Naturally. Why did you let him go, Tommy?
Oh, why,
he didn't want me to go, miss.
No, of course not.
But I insisted. I decided that my 5 children came first.
You mean you were married?
Yes, Miss Irene.
5 little children. Oh!
Well, catch her, somebody. Irene's fainted.
I think Father had better announce her engagement before she comes to. Godfrey, tell the band to play Boots and Saddles or something to attract attention.
Very well, miss. I shall so inform them.
Now, would you mind telling me what the idea is if you're pretending to be Smith and acting as a servant in a nut house? What's the gag?
It isn't a gag, Tommy.
Your family up in Boston tells everybody you're in South America. Doing fine, like all the parks since the Mayflower brought them over.
Well, I lost everything in the market crash. Then I had another smash-up with a girl. One night I found myself wandering in a daze down near the river. I think I must have meant to slide into it. Then I saw the dump. Shacks with guys living in them. And it suddenly struck me that they were worse off than I was. Well, I decided to share potluck with them. I built my own shack and joined up. And for the first time in my life, I began to live.
Sounds awful to me.
I used to sit on the dock at night and look at the stars, and the pattern of the Queensboro Bridge against the sky, and the boats going by. It was beautiful there at night. In the daytime, it was horrible. And then something happened, and I saw a chance to rehabilitate myself. I took it.
Holy smoke. Some rehabilitation.
Wait, it's not over yet. I may have to rehabilitate the whole family. And then I'm going to do something for the guys down on that city dump. They need rehabilitating, too.
Now, just say the word. You can have half of everything I've got.
Thanks, Tommy. Not this time. I'll have to play this one out alone.
Well, for land's sake, Miss Irene, what are you sewing?
It's his.
Oh, yes, it is his.
Do you sew on his buttons?
Oh, sometimes.
No, I will sew on his buttons. I wonder what he does on his day off.
He never tells me.
Does he like flowers?
I don't know.
I brought him some. There they are. Would you put them in his room? I'm not allowed to go in there.
I'm not either. He'll be coming in the kitchen way any minute.
He's probably sitting with some woman on his lap. I hate him.
He's very mean.
He is mean, isn't he? He's the meanest man I know of.
I think he's very mean.
When I got engaged, he congratulated me.
That's just like him.
And there he is with someone sitting on his knee and his 5 children crawling all over him. I can't bear it.
I can't either.
Good evening, Miss Irene.
Godfrey!
Well, what's the matter with her, Molly?
Godfrey!
Well, what in the name of... Welcome home.
All right. When did you first miss the pearls?
During dinner, officer. I went to my room and they were gone.
Did you see anyone into your room in the meantime?
Yes, officer. Godfrey. I sent him to my room for a pair of slippers. He returned with the slippers and went at once to his quarters.
Mind if we search your room?
Not at all.
Well, come on.
In here.
Mother, this is serious.
Well, of course, dear. Stealing is always serious when you get caught.
My sister's a little nuts, officer. One night she threw those pearls out of a cab window.
I never did. Come, officer. You haven't looked in his bureau.
Who's doing the searching around here?
Oh, now, can't we stop all this? After all, they're insured.
Like fun they are. I've been trying for 2 weeks to tell this family I can't afford cash for things like that.
Look, lady, what made you so dead certain your pearls would be in this guy's bureau?
Why,
Officer, it was just a natural misunderstanding, I'm sure. Good night, gentlemen.
Now listen to me. I've got a story for you that'll perhaps interest you all. The Bullocks are broke. Dead broke. Not a cent. Not only that, but I've been using the company's money for the last month to speculate with, and I've lost. Do you hear that? I've lost. That means I'm an embezzler, and I will have to go to jail.
Alexander, I think it was very foolish of you to embezzle.
Well, you'll be living on that ash pile where you picked Godfrey up. Maybe Godfrey will be nice to you and let you live with him.
Oh, yes. Yes, how wonderful.
You had no right to embezzle.
You let him alone. You don't pick on anybody when anybody's down.
Oh, good Samaritan. Hey, what do you think you're going to do?
Punch you on the nose. 1, 3, 7. You're out.
Children, I don't think this is a time to play silly games. Your father's in the middle of a serious discussion.
Coffee is served, madam.
Oh, Godfrey, Mr. Bullock has to go to jail.
Madam, I'm sure Mr. Bullock doesn't have to go to jail.
Oh, yes, I do. Godfrey, I've been embezzling. I'm sure that'll shock you.
No, it doesn't shock me, sir, because I've been pretty sure that your affairs weren't in good shape. Obviously, you've been under a terrific strain.
Why, I didn't notice anything.
Well, now, as it happens, before I went on the ash pile, I had some experience on the stock market. Yesterday, I decided to sell short on Bullocks.
Sell what?
Sell short.
Shorts? Men's underwear?
Yeah. Well, I made quite a lot of money. I felt I owed this family something for taking me in. I used the money to buy back the Bullock stock at half of what I sold it for. Here, Mr. Bullock, are your stock certificates.
Godfrey, you shouldn't have done this. Don't you realize what it means?
What does it mean?
It means I don't have to go to jail. It means we all stay on here. It means that I stay on living with this gang of parasites instead of spending my declining years in a nice, cozy cell. I thought you were my friend, Godfrey. Where in the world did you get the money?
From these. Cornelius pearls.
My pearls? I thought you didn't take the pearls.
You knew I didn't. You planted them in my room and sent for the police. I found them in time and took them out, pawned them, and with the money, I opened the stock account. So you see, after all, the pearls saved the day.
You're really very decent, Godfrey, when you consider all the things I did to you. I'll try to make it up to you someday.
Oh, no, you won't. I'll do the making up.
Godfrey, you're a better man than any of us.
Us, sir? Thank you, sir.
Godfrey, you wait for me. Where do you think you're going?
Back to the dump.
Godfrey. You may have made the rest of the family rich again, but I'm still poor.
Yes, miss?
And I've been practicing sewing buttons on. I'm the best button sewer on in New York. And I like dumps. I'd rather live with you in a dump than this family in a palace.
Miss Irene, I'm sorry, but I have many things to do. Things like rehabilitating a lot of forgotten men.
Naturally. And we're going to start with you. I've got a license and a ring.
What?
And some cans of beans and my sewing box.
Well, I'll be...
Married. Oh, please, Godfrey. I don't want to have a lot of little morons.
What do you want?
You and 5 little Godfreys.
Well, all right. Come along. But, Miss Irene...
Yes, Godfrey.
Please, darling, don't forget any of your buttons.
You may not think of the corner drugstore near your home as a very dramatic place. And yet there is a man in that store who may be preparing, right at this very moment, a prescription that will help to save a life before morning. That man is your druggist, your pharmacist, a highly skilled man of science professionally trained to translate the Latin of a doctor's prescription into safe, effective medicines for your use. Years of study have gone into the development of his special skills. Skills which enable him to split a single drop, to measure powerful drugs in quantities so minute a feather would outweigh them. On your pharmacist's shelves are many Squibb products used in compounding prescriptions. He displays others on the shelves and counters of his store. For he knows that on life-saving drugs and simple home health essentials alike, the name Squibb means this product is just as safe, pure, and effective as medical science can make it. So always be sure to get Squibb quality when you buy. Ask for Squibb, a name you can trust. Next Wednesday, another great picture. The House of Squibb will present Academy Award starring Eddie Bracken with Ann Blythe in It Happened Tomorrow. Today's performance of My Man Godfrey was written for radio by Frank Wilson with an original musical score composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Our producer-director is Dee Engelbach. William Powell appeared tonight by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of Three Wise Fools. This is Hugh Brundage bidding you good night until next Wednesday at the same time, when you're invited to listen again to Academy Award, presented by the House of Squibb, a name you can trust. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Sometimes the radio playwright wanted to have a bit of fun. So, long before the Japanese movies had a giant cockroach come out of the sea to eat up Kyoto, or was it South Chicago, I wrote 2 plays that theoretically destroyed everything. One was a story about a growing chicken heart that covered the world, and the other was the one you're about to hear.
Lights out. Everybody. It is later than you think.
this is Art Jobler. Someone has said that the two main springs which drive the world are hunger and the will to power. I think we'll all agree about the hunger, but as to the will to power, well, sometimes I think it's not quite as strenuous as that. There are some people in this world who don't want to run anything. They just want to be liked. And that's the mainspring of our story tonight, oxychloride eggs.
So I says to him, I says, well, sir, I'd like to be obliging, but I really haven't got the time. And he says to me, he says, well, Mr. Jackson, after all, we're making this proposition only to a few outstanding student representatives on the campus. And we do feel that you should be interested in our proposition.
Well,
so,
what did you say?
Well, I said, mister, I can't be bothered. Just can't be bothered. And I gets in my car and off I goes.
But, Bob, free clothes just for wearing them around the campus.
Listen, Stan, my boy, what I want to be a clothes horse for any old haberdashery. My old pappy's got more money than he knows what to do with. Now, what for, I ask?
Well, I guess you got something there. Say, who are you going to take to the dance Saturday night?
Haven't made up my mind.
How about that new number over at the Roto House?
No, thank you, brother.
What's the matter?
Well, did you ever take a look at her feet?
No, sir. Never got below her chin.
Hold it. Yeah?
Ray Stewart to see you, Stan.
Yeah. Send him on up.
Ray Stewart. Who's he?
Well, we're still short one pledge, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, I know, but Ray Stewart, who is he?
Oh, I met him over in chemistry. Got a mind like a textbook.
Oh, but who is he? We can't pledge a man just because he's a grind.
Well, we could use a few grinds around here. Exams come around, there's nothing like a few of those brainy boys to pull us through.
But who is he? Where's he from? Who's his family? Who's his
father? Hold it. Come on in, Ray.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, it was good of you to bother to come over tonight.
It was good of you to ask me.
Oh, not at all. Ray, I want you to meet the president of our house, Bob Jackson. Mr. Jackson, Mr. Stewart.
I'm certainly glad to make your acquaintance. I might as well admit this is the first time I've ever been in a fraternity house.
Really?
Sit down, Ray. Make yourself at home.
Oh, thank you.
Now, tell me, Ray, do you ever go in for any sports back in your prep days?
Oh, no. I never had much time for that sort of thing.
No?
No, I think that sports should be put into their proper place. After all, I'm sure you agree they aren't particularly important.
No? And what, might I ask, is important in your estimation, Mr. Stewart?
Doing things. Being someone.
What?
Doing things man's never done before. Taking the elements and transmuting them into things which never existed until you thought of them. That's important. That's being almost godlike, isn't it?
Master, how you talk.
Oh, sorry, I get sort of carried away.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. Bob, his boy sure knows his chemistry.
Huh?
Oh, I really don't know so much.
Say, I ought to know better. You pulled me over some tough spots in this course.
I'm very glad to help you whenever I can. If I lived here, I could help you all the time. I could help you too, Mr. Jackson.
If I need help, I know where to get it.
Oh, I didn't mean to offend you.
It's all right, Stewart. Now, tell me, you're from around Chicago way, aren't you?
Oh, no, Milwaukee. Lived there for years.
Don't tell me I'm one of those Bruin families.
Oh, no. We're not wealthy people at all. My father runs a small business. It isn't much, but we get along.
Oh.
I don't think money's important anyway if a person's ambitious. Do you, Mr. Jackson?
Oh, no. What's money?
You fellas may think this funny, but well, I always thought it's more important what a fella does than what he has. I mean, I've always had the feeling that someday, somehow, I'm going to do something really important. Maybe even miraculous.
Well, now, what do you expect to do? Discover the missing link?
Yes, Stewart. What is this miracle you expect to perform?
Well, I don't know exactly. Ever since I've been just a kid, I've been interested in chemistry, and I've had a feeling that someday I'd perform an experiment, mix certain chemicals together, and something would happen that never happened before.
Now, you hear that, Stan? A miracle man.
Amazing, my dear Bob. Simply amazing.
I know it sounds silly, but things I dream about always seem to work out.
Well, would you mind telling us the last miracle that worked out?
Well, this.
This? Oh, what do you mean?
Well, as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to belong to a fraternity, and here I am. I mean, you invited me.
Just a minute there, fellow. Mr. Stewart, it's been awfully nice of you to come over and visit with us. And someday we'll have you back again. But now we've got some studying to do, so if you don't mind...
Oh, no, not at all. It was nice of you to invite me over. Well, good night, fellas.
Good night.
Good night.
All the screwy crackpot.
Did you see the look in his eye when he was talking about miracles?
Yeah. Well, it'll be a miracle if he ever gets back into this house again, I'll tell you that. What in the world ever made you ask him over here?
Well, I didn't know. How was I to know he's a crackpot?
Pledge him to our fraternity. Pledge him to the booby hatch.
Mr. Stewart, if you please, Mr. Stewart.
Yes, Professor?
Mr. Stewart, might I ask if you're anxious to sever your relationship with this university?
No, sir.
Then might I ask why in creation you persist in ignoring my warnings? In this laboratory, you're to perform the experiments given you to perform. Understand? Given you to perform.
Yes, sir.
Then might I ask why you persist in your, shall I call it, original experiments? Perhaps it's your intention to blow up the university. Or just the laboratory.
I'm sorry.
You'll be more than sorry if I find you doing this sort of thing again. Now, take down this apparatus and continue with the work in your textbook.
Yes, sir.
This is my last warning, so bear it in mind.
Oh, hello, Stuart. How about loaning me your notebook for a few hours?
Oh, hello, Jackson. You haven't been to lab much, have you?
Oh, no, I haven't, but I can make it up. We've been pretty busy over the house. Initiations and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Jackson.
Yeah?
You never invited me back. I thought maybe you forgot.
Oh, well, you know how those things are.
I wrote my mother that I was joining your fraternity.
Well, that was a sap thing to do.
Was it?
Well, we hadn't pledged you. Stan simply invited you over so I could talk to you.
But you said you wanted me to come back.
Oh, now, look here, fella. Don't be stupid about this. We didn't pledge you, so that's that.
You're not going to pledge me?
Certainly not.
But why?
I don't have to tell you why.
But you've got to tell me.
Oh, quit pawing me, will you? All right, you're asking for it, so here it is. We didn't pledge you because we think you're a crackpot.
A what?
A crackpot. You talk about miracles. You spend every minute of your time here in the lab monkeying around with things you don't know anything about, getting yourself in all kinds of trouble. Yeah, and you look like a first-class screwball.
But I'm just trying to make...
I don't care whatever it is you're trying. It isn't normal. I'll bet you never had a glass of beer in your life. And if a girl ever looked at you, you'd fall over in a faint.
Then you're not going to pledge me? You're not going to pledge
No, we're not going to pledge you. So if your mom expects you to be in a fraternity, you better start cooking up one of those miracles, fella. A first-class miracle.
Sleep. It's so late. Sleep. I've got to sleep.
Not gonna pledge you.
That's what he said. Not gonna pledge me. Why do I keep thinking about it? If I could only sleep. Sleep.
We think you're a crackpot.
Oh, I gotta stop thinking about these things. It's not healthy to think what I'm thinking.
Crackpot. Not gonna pledge you.
Crackpot. What's the matter with my head? I heard him talking in it over and over and over again.
Crackpot.
I'm not crazy. I'm not. I'm as good as you are. I'm as good as both of you put together. Stop saying that. Stop saying it. I'll show you. I'll show you both. I'm better than you are. I'm better than anybody. I'll show you. I'll show you. Talk about miracles. I'll give you miracles. The lab. I've got to get into it. I'll give you miracles. Dark in there. I've got to get in. Oh, blasted door. Got to get in. Window. I'll show you. So dark in here. Got to find a lab table. Got to make a miracle.
Who's there? Who's there, I say?
Watchman.
Come on now. Who's there? Talk up.
You don't have to get so excited. I'm a student.
Student, eh? Let's have a look at you.
That flashlight, you're blinding me.
I've got to see who you are, don't I? Yeah, I know you. Seen you on the campus.
I told you I'm a student.
Well, that don't give you no right to be here after hours. How'd you get in here? Oh, broke a window now, did you? Huh?
I didn't break the window.
But I heard the glass.
So did I, and I followed the man in here.
Man, what are you talking about?
Give me your flashlight, and I'll show you.
All right. Here.
Now, look behind you. No one will stop me. No one. Miracle. Gotta make one. Got to. cc barium. 5 cc selenium oxychloride. Oh, good, good. You're working out just as I planned.
Who's there? Who's that working there?
Professor.
Oh, it's you, Stewart. And after all my warnings.
You're just in time, Professor.
Yes, just in time to have you thrown out of the university. What are you doing there? What is this mess of equipment?
It's my miracle.
Miracle? What are you talking about?
My miracle.
Are you insane? Take it apart, all of it, at once.
Listen to it bubbling. A beautiful sound, isn't it, Professor?
Take it apart, I tell you. Empty out the retort.
No, I've got to wait.
Are you mad? Turn out the burners. All right, I'll turn them off for you.
No, stay where you are.
Stewart, put down that acid.
I'll smash the bottle on your head if you touch anything on the table.
No, don't throw it. Put the bottle of acid down, Stewart. Please.
My experiment. My miracle. Bubbling and boiling and stewing. It will work, Professor. It's got to work.
But what is it?
I told them I'd create something that no other man has. I told them. And I will, Professor. You hear me? I will.
But what?
A solvent. A solvent more powerful than anything the world has ever known.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Listen to it bubble.
You said solvent. Explain yourself.
Yes, solvent. A solvent that will dissolve steel like a hot flame.
What do you say?
You heard me say it. A solvent that will dissolve steel faster than a razor cutting through paper. Do you know what that means? Run a line of this liquid across a steel girder, and the girder will crumple like a falling tree. Pour some of my solvent into a glass shell and bomb the cities. I tell you, it'll make war too horrible for men to endure.
You crazy boy, you. You know what you're talking about?
I'm talking about that. That liquid there. Listen to it. Listen to it sing.
Why, no such solvent exists. Selenium oxychloride, perhaps, but to do the impossible things you talked about would require a quantity so...
Oh, the beaker. It cracked.
Well, do something. That liquid's flying all over my bench, my laboratory.
The stone of the bench. It's eating through the stone.
Oh, stop it.
The liquid. It's eating through the stone bench.
No, it can't be.
It's eating through the slate of the floor. The hole's getting bigger and bigger.
Run!
Oh, I've done it. I've created something no other man has done. A solvent that dissolves anything. Anything. Anything.
Hey, what happened? What's the matter? The lamp. I guess it's on fire. Well, where's the fire? I can't see anything. The whole school's out here. Hey, fellas, what's up?
Nobody seems to know. Something's going wrong in the lab. Firemen won't let us in.
Something burning?
I don't know. Can't get near enough to find out.
I can't see any fire.
There's plenty of smoke, though.
Plenty of excitement. Read about it in tomorrow's paper, I'll bet you. Hey, listen to that sound.
Yeah, it sounds like water.
Gosh, what is it? Hey, everybody back! The building! It's going to crash! Run!
I did it. A solvent that dissolves anything. Anything.
Hey, Chief, look at this.
Huh? What's the matter, Murph? Somebody have sex doublets?
Get a load of this, Chief. Came in over the news wires. Read it.
Additional on Whitmore University. Mysterious cavity on campus growing larger hourly. More follows. Mysterious cavity. Hey, what is this, a dentist advertisement?
Don't you remember, Chief? A couple hours ago, that flash about something eating a hole so big a building fell in it. This is the follow-up. The thing's getting bigger. What do you want to do about it?
Forget it.
What?
Don't you see through a gag when it hits you in the face? Somebody's just having fun on the wires. Ha! Mysterious cavity growing bigger. Well, when it's as big as a hole in your head, that'll be news, Murph. That'll be news.
Anything. It dissolves anything. And I did it. I discovered it.
Yes. Hello. What is it? Yes, this is Dr. Whitmore. Who is this? Who? National News Service. Now, look here, my good man. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm supposed to be resting. My vacation, you know. What? My university. Building collapsed. But are you sure? Yes, I'll call them long distance at once. No, I can't give you any sort of statement now. Hang up, man. I've got to get the operator. Operator. Give me long distance. Give me... What? Long distance is calling? Well, put them on. Hello. Yes, this is he. Rogers? Yes, Rogers. What? Did? That's impossible. Roger?
But how could it grow larger? Chemicals? Are you drunk men? Insane? It's impossible. Impossible.
But you must do something.
Listen, mister. I'm a fireman, not a magician.
But that hole, it's 20 feet wider than it was 10 minutes ago.
Mister, I don't know what it's all about. No fire and the ground's burning right away.
We have $5 million worth of property on this ground. If that whole
For
spreads...
Pete's sake, leave me alone, will you? We've been throwing water on the edges of the thing ever since the building fell in, but it don't do no good. It don't do no good.
Gentlemen, listen to this out of tonight's paper. The latest news on the Whitmore University mystery. What at first was treated lightly by all newspapers as either a hoax or a shifting of earth stratum has now developed into an authentic yet unbelievable situation. The hole, which began at the site of the chemical laboratory building, is now 300 feet in diameter and spreading with unbelievable rapidity. Fire departments and fire experts from all neighboring communities within a radius of 100 miles have been called in, but have been helpless to combat the rapidly spreading pit. Many conflicting theories have been propounded as to the cause of the cave-in, but at last reports nothing definite had been determined.
That's enough, Professor Parker. What about the solvent?
Yes. Unbelievable, unexplainable as it is apparently self-regenerating and oxidizing anything it comes in contact with so quickly that we see no fire but only the rapidly growing cavity where the earth is being consumed.
But, Professor Parker, what is this solvent? Surely you don't expect us to believe that this student you were telling us about...
I mean exactly that.
Oh, preposterous. It's a fault in the structure of the earth. There is no such thing as a self-regenerating solvent. Simple cave-in, that's all it is. That's what I've been talking all this time.
Gentlemen, if you please. What I know, I know.
Oh, it's preposterous.
Gentlemen, if you please. If my professional reputation is not enough to substantiate what I've said, then at least you'll listen to the boy himself. He's here. Listen to him.
Well, why should we?
Yes, gentlemen, if you'll listen, I'll tell you. You'd better listen to me.
Gentlemen, please.
What Professor Parker said is true. It is a solvent. It dissolves anything it touches quickly, furiously. The byproducts of that dissolution give it new strength and movement. And I discovered it, gentlemen.
I know, but what will happen? What can we do?
We can wait.
Wait? How can we wait? Look out there. The hole's within 2 feet of another building already. We've got to stop it. At once. If you do this.
The building! The foundation's undermined. Crashing!
Mother in heaven. Harris Hall. Caved right in the hole. Professor Parker. You boy, listen. Which chemicals did you use? We've got to fight it with chemicals. Spread them around the edge. Neutralize the solvent.
Yes, that's it. Chemicals. We'll neutralize the reaction.
No, gentlemen. Listen. You may neutralize the reaction at the edges of the hole. But you forget one thing.
What? What are you talking about?
The solvent is eating downward at many times the rate it's eating outward. You may neutralize the reaction at the edges of the hole. But have you forgotten? It's eaten the hole 1/4 mile deep already. And it's eating into the earth faster and faster. How are you going to stop that?
Faster and faster at an ever-increasing rate, this strange cancer on the surface is eating away. It is now approximately 14 hours since the phenomenon began, and already it has eaten outward a distance approximately 1 mile in diameter, with a resulting damage of over $1.5 million in property.
Truly, the most astounding factor in this catastrophe is the fact that the hole is increasing in depth at an unbelievable rate. At our last reports, approximately 10 minutes ago, the pit had reached a depth of approximately 3 miles, and experts apparently refuse to predict how much further this earth cancer will go. What only a handful of hours ago was a quiet section of the country in which stood the Whitmore University is now a great gaping pit in the surface of the earth, out of which rise strange noxious gases as that burning something eats deeper and deeper and deeper into the bowels of the earth. The latest sonic recordings indicate that the shaft has now reached a depth of 11 miles, 2,342 feet. I'm right on the scene and will continue to send reports as quickly as I get.
Sure is a crowd here.
Yeah, 500,000, they say.
Yeah, watching and waiting. And for what?
Ain't it ever going to stop, Stan?
Don't ask me. I don't know. It's going deeper and deeper every minute. There ain't no stopping it.
Listen to them. Scared, ain't they? Every one of them.
Well, aren't you?
Yeah, sure. That hole going deeper and deeper into the ground, and nobody can stop it. And what happens when it gets all the way through, nobody knows. Sure, I'm scared. Scared plenty.
Earthquake. Help, send help. Volcano erupting. City on fire. Martial law declared. Tidal waves sweeping inland. Nothing can stop it. Nothing. Earthquake. Fire. Tidal waves.
World coming to an end.
Judgment of God. Judgment of God.
From Siberia to Cape Town to San Francisco and around the world again. I tell you, the Earth's ripping apart. And I tell you, it's that hole in the ground that's done it. It's affected the rotation of the Earth. Unbalanced things.
Yes, and it's biting deeper every minute. What'll happen when it eats through to the other side? The ocean pouring through. We'll die. We'll all die.
Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Who's to blame? It's that kid who's to blame. Yeah, we read it in the papers. That crazy college kid.
There he is.
That's him.
No, let me go, you fools, you. I've done a great thing, a wonderful thing. Created something no one ever thought of. No, let me down. Let me down. Let me down, you fools. I started the song, but I didn't know this would happen. You can't blame me for a miracle.
Throw him in the hole.
No.
Yes, throw him in the hole. He made it.
No, don't throw me down in there. There's no bottom to it. No.
Here, put him down here on the grass.
Dan?
Yes. Boy, oh boy, will this be a sensation on the campus.
But, Watchman, how did it happen?
Well, I'm making my rounds of the grounds as usual, and all at once in the moonlight I see this fellow walking across the grass. So I go up to him and I see the fellow's walking in his sleep.
In his sleep?
Yeah. And just when I starts to grab him easy like, he pulls loose, yells something about, "Don't throw me in, don't throw me in." And then he runs across the campus and dives headfirst down into the swimming pool. And it's empty. When I pull him out, he's like he is now. Busted neck.
But who is he? Anyone recognize him? Yeah, I know him. Stewart's his name. Ray Stewart. Kind of a screwy little crackpot. Always talking about creating miracles with chemicals. I wonder what he thought was happening to him diving down that hole.
Thank you for joining us this evening, Sunday night with Old Time Radio. We'll be back again next week, the 22nd of October, 2023. We broadcast from 8 to 11 Central Time. As always, sleep tight.